Hey, you guys. Hola, hola, hola. Hey, Danny. Yeah, Michelle, I've read a couple of his books. It's been a while, though. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Claire. So we're going to start. Oh, 1 second. We're going to start on page 179, but I am going to go back up and relook at like a 150 or some poop like that because I skipped over it and somebody's adamant that I missed something important. So we're going to see. I'm going to go back and check it. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Tennille. No, what? What about what? What? Thank you. It's like, I need to redo it. Well, hey. Hola. We're going to give like 5 minutes. Hey, JD. Give like 5 minutes like we always do. So I'm going to go back and look and see what it was because it was like the case law stuff. And honestly, it's just kind of annoying to say so-and-so versus so-and-so and da-da-da-da-da over and over and over again. But they claim that I missed something important. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at it and see if they're legit or not. But I can't remember like what part of it I stopped reading because I read through the percentages. It was after the press release, I guess. Trying to see where it is. We're dropping what? Change of venue. What? I don't know what that means. This is documents from yesterday. Hey, gotta say something. Hey, Ulcer. This is the second half of the document that it dropped yesterday. Now they do have another one that they posted today, but it's the hey Salty, there you are. It's the motion to seal the exhibits that I'm gonna assume are the exhibits that are like mentioned in this document. And they're just like sealing them, but we kind of knew that anyway, right? Because they're gonna seal everything. They are gonna seal everything. So I think it'll be okay. We pretty much just figured that anyway. Let's see if I can figure out. Okay. I read this page. Read this page. And we read through the percentages. So I'm not really quite sure really what that person was talking about. Like, I know I skipped over like maybe one page that had a whole bunch of different like cases listed on it. And we didn't need to read through his credentials, Dr. Edelman's credentials, because it was like pointless. Everyone's good. Everyone's good. Thank you. I need to do something with them. My blue wall came out. Hey, Summer. Yeah, they did yesterday. The documents. Drops means release, document drop. I guess it's just a lingo. Maybe it's just the lingo you don't know. Document drop, doc drop is like what we use whenever they drop a document. When a new document gets posted to the public website, we just call it a drop because they've released information. But that was yesterday. They did it yesterday, and the witness and exhibit list. We went through the whole witness and exhibit list yesterday. Now we're going to go through like the ending half because it was 319 pages. The memo for change of venue is 319 pages. Yeah. So all that means is that it's a doc drop. The hearing isn't until August 29th. No, that's just because you're not used to YouTube lingo. I mean, even on Twitter, that's what they kind of call it. Doc drop, change of venue, doc drop. Yeah. I mean, I understand like kind of like your point, but my point is that like he's just the survey guy. And so his interpretation of it is going to be one way, but like in reality there's so much more that is like included in the whole change of venue and why it's necessary, because I mean we need to just face it regardless. It's hella necessary. So necessary. But when it comes to like his percentages and like all those other things, like the percentages are barely off enough for it to really matter. And I just kind of feel like in the end, it's not going to work out the way that they feel like it's going to work out anyway. I really feel like they're going to get the change of venue approved like it should be. Totally should be approved. This has been a long time coming. It was way expected. But when it comes to the percentages differences and what they're trying to do with Ada County, I feel like they just have a bigger population. That's the only reason why it's less saturated, because of the bigger population. It's just like a ripple effect. The bigger the amount of people, sort of like, I guess it's hard to explain the way my brain is like interpreting it. I just feel like they're choosing like the biggest place in the state because like what else are they going to use? You know what I mean? Like what else are they going to choose? Everything else is pretty much like small. Like just looking at the maps around like Moscow and Pullman and like south going towards where like the Albertsons and stuff is, it's so much farmland. So much farmland. But I can't even remember exactly what it was that I skipped over, CH. So if you can like remember which one it was, because I went through, I'm just going to show the screen because I went through the percentages. Let me show this to you guys real quick. They did drop this. This is like normal. This is something that we kind of figured because they were talking about exhibits and they filed something that already made it to where like every exhibit is going to be like filed under seal or whatever. So that's all that this is stating that these are temporarily sealed and there's no objection from either side. Order to temporarily seal portions, exhibits to the memorandum in support of motion to change venue. The portions of the exhibits to be sealed are contained, that probably should say on, the USB flash drive that was hand delivered on 7/22 with a copy of the defendant's witness and exhibit list for the motion for change of venue hearing. The parties agree that the sealed portions of the exhibits will be utilized in open court on August 29th. So that's interesting because I said it was kind of like strange to me that they were already like releasing in this document a month earlier. Okay, because I know that I got to the percentages and stuff like that. I really only skipped over like the one page that was like state versus so-and-so 1,000 times. That's kind of like the stuff I kind of skip over. Hey, Kels. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you. Took me forever to finally paint it. Very necessary. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, I heard it did get moved around. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try to find it, but I know I went through for sure, like the percentages and stuff like that. That's what I was trying to see. But I didn't want to read none of his like stuff because like I get it, you're established, that's fine. I don't want to go through like a deep dive into him at this moment in time is really all that it was. Let's see if we can figure out. Yeah, I feel like I read the media analysis and stuff. Okay, so we're going to go down to 179 and pick up where we left off. Let's go down here. Because we finished this part right here. And we were stopped right here. This part right here. Now, again, I will say, I know not. How dare they? It's ridiculous. That's funny. Well, and honestly, the reason most likely is because you have blonde hair and the pictures that she uses, she's blonde, your shade of blonde, and they're like obviously not, if they are of her, they're definitely not current because she was on the documentary and definitely the pictures that she's been having on here are not current. So that's probably why. Oh, that's funny, actually. I don't know. No idea. My eye isn't twitching so bad today, so hopefully I won't have to stop so much. But we're going to go ahead and start reading and see if we can come up with anything else. I just want to actually like skim through this real quick to see. Okay, so there's going to be some interesting stuff in here. Okay. I'm going to start now. I forgot my water. I'll have to get one of my kids to bring me water. Okay, so we stopped on page 179, and we're going to start right here. The Latell County community has come together in support of the victims and their families. For example, There were several candlelight vigils and memorial created to remember the victims. The home where the murders occurred was donated to the university and later demolished. Yes, and it should have never been demolished. Multiple groups were created on social media, and thousands of posts appeared with the hashtag #VandalStrong. That's true. Members of the victims' families used the media as an outlet to remember their lost loved ones and voice their frustrations in the case as the case has moved through the court system. Examples of this type of reporting include, okay, so is this just like about how the victims' families were using media and what they did on the media? It's kind of hard to tell. Hey Tonka, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes like exactly what it is that they're trying to like talk about, because they were acting, as far as as I can understand, they're trying to act as if all of these titles and sentences and headlines from media are like part of the reasoning why they need the venue change, but in all actuality, these are all really light, guys. I guess maybe they didn't look too much at YouTube, honestly, because really I'm not seeing anything along the lines of any of the freaking insanity that we have seen, right? It's all very vague, generic little sentences. Hey, Anita. Okay. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they come up with anything like juicier than this, because so far I'm just kind of like, I'm not really seeing how these are a problem. They're pretty standard. Okay. So these are examples of the reporting on how the loved ones voiced their frustrations and remembered the victims, is how I'm taking this. The U of I held a candlelight vigil November 30th in the Kibbe Dome and to honor Chapin, Kernodle, Mogen, and Goncalves. With the number of students who have left campus early, U of I has postponed a candlelight vigil that has been planned for Wednesday night, November 30th. I remember there being something about the memorial. Maybe it wasn't the memorial. There was something that was in correlation with something to do with the victims and Bryan's arrest. But I can't remember. Was it the funeral for Kaylee? Or was it another memorial, I think? Because there was something to where they were like, oh, we don't want to do it because it could be like dangerous. And then all of a sudden we have an arrest and like some sort of ceremony thing happening. I can't really remember though. Okay, they designed the sticker themselves and got help from Allegra Image 360 with printing 3,000 copies. The stickers will be handed out during a candlelight vigil scheduled at 5 p.m. today at the ASUI Kibbe Activity Center on the UI campus in Moscow. The vigil will be held simultaneously at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time across the University of Idaho's Moscow, Boise, and Idaho Falls campuses, as well as in Coeur d'Alene and McCall. Those who cannot make the vigil in person are encouraged to light a candle or hold a moment of silence during that time. Their lives were changed forever 365 days ago, but the students who spoke at a candlelight vigil Monday night said the strength of the community, Vandal family, and friends are helping them move forward. That one. Yep. For sure. Yeah, and that's what I'm like saying though, Annie. It's not making any sense to me because like they're kind of not false, I guess is what I'm saying. They're kind of just like regular standard statements of what like the police were already stating. And honestly, like all of the ones that we kind of read that even had anything to do with Bryan, they weren't even like that crazy, right? I don't know. I mean, I feel like the venue needs to be changed regardless. Yeah, I feel like it needs to be changed regardless. I've been waiting and I've been saying that for a while. I don't know. I guess I was just, like I said, I just figured that they would like use things that really, really honed in on the misinformation, especially since we know what I was reading Tonka's comment and just said that the prosecution has come out and admitted like is not true, and all the stuff that's actually missing when it comes to phone data, what's actually there when it comes to the media, not just the media, but the cameras. So I don't know. I guess I just figured that they would put something in there. Hey, Christy, a little bit more important, I guess. I don't know. Hey. Yeah. I mean, they're not gonna really have a choice, though. I mean, if it doesn't if he is truly innocent, which, again, they're not proving their story so far. If he is truly innocent and they mess around, that's just more later because the truth always ends up coming out. It's really as much as it, like, sucks that people have to spend, like, forever in jail, it's really rare that someone, like, dies in jail that's innocent. You know what I mean? Like, it'll come out sooner or later, and if it's later, then that's just gonna be even worse. That's gonna be worse on them. See, and that's what I said that to somebody earlier, maybe yesterday in the comments, it might have been earlier today. I feel like they're doing the bare freaking minimum because, like, everything that we have heard, even the stuff that we weren't supposed to hear that logs in as, like, slipped in or things that we have found out outside of the court hearings that turned out to be validated after the fact, I feel like they've had real ammo. And instead of using the real ammo, like all of the crazy bullshit that we heard about the what you call it, the grand jury, like the real information that came out about the problems with the grand jury, they didn't use any of those real issues. They used like what the jurors were told the rules were as their excuse. And I'm like, bro, you had real ammo to use. Why are you going over something that they're never gonna freaking let you have? Ever. And the same thing with this, just the simple fact that they now have proof that the prosecution allowed these lies of stalking and social media stalking to be adamant this entire time now for almost 2 years. 4 months shy of 2 years, right? Why not use that? Like, that seems like real ammo to me. I just don't understand why they're just not using what they actually have. Yeah, that's where this document's saying that they're gonna go. Yeah, you do. They're expensive as hell. Faux show. I saw what happened with his case, but honestly, this might make some people upset, but I don't think that Alec Baldwin should have ever been charged or in court. He was doing his job. He was handed something by somebody who was supposed to have done their job, and he followed directions. And him following said directions and trusting somebody else to do their job in turn caused problems. It was a horrible situation. I know people don't like Alec Baldwin. I don't like the Baldwins. They're all freaking loopy. They're out of their minds. But I just don't feel like he should have ever even been in court. I think they only did that because they needed like a big name associated with it because nobody had heard of that lady, which it's sad, but it's true. And it's just all insane. Yeah, it's just insane. It's just insane. I love the fact that they're calling out some of these people, though. It's about freaking time. I mean, does it though? Because like every attorney is a private attorney until they are having to be a public defender. You know what I mean? Like they even have to like legally do a certain amount of like pro bono hours every year, right? Like it's just like standard practice. So I don't know. I don't know. Plus, she also just got moved over to the state office of the public defender, right? So I feel like even if you are doing that, then you still have the right to be like a private firm. I don't know. I could have sworn that that was like already a thing. I could be wrong though, but I don't know why she would be registered as a private firm if it's not normal and also now be moved to the state of the public defender as of like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? So I mean, that doesn't make sense. They could have both. So if they can't have both, why would she just now be registered as a private firm under an LLC, but also be in the state of the public defender's office? I'm gonna have to look into that one because that's a little strange. Honestly, I'm not sure. I wonder if he's gonna take the stand. I mean, I think she is too. That part. Yeah, the psycho handler chick, she's a crazy person. That was not the first time she had tried some cray-cray stuff. I had to explain that to my dad because he don't like the Baldwins either. And I'm like, okay, but do you know anything really about this weaponer lady, whatever you call it? What do you call it? Armorer? I don't even know words. Yeah, they do, the bare minimum, but that's what I said, like, I feel like they have real ammo they could be using, and they're kinda going off a bunch of nothing important, I feel. I don't know, unless they're, like, saving the good stuff for later, which is dumb if that's the case, because they really do have ammo they could be using. So I don't know. Okay. Their lives were changed forever 365 days ago, but the students who spoke at the candlelight vigil Monday night said the strength of the community, Vandal family, and friends are helping them move forward. On the 1 year anniversary of the murders, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Maddie Mogen, and Ethan Chapin, a group gathered. Huh? Oh, okay. I just like, for some reason, my brain saw that sentence as being written incorrectly, and it's not. A group gathered on the University of Idaho campus to share tears, hugs, and heartfelt memories of the long lives lost. Oh my geez, I cannot talk. Young lives that ended on November 13th of 2022. The large tree that is the centerpiece of Moscow's Friendship Square during the holiday season was adorned with heartfelt messages written by community members to honor the 4 victims of the November 13th murders near the University of Idaho campus: Kaylee Goncalves, Maddie Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. The killing of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, the fall of 2022, inspired U of I students and the people of Moscow to come together and honor the victims and others with a memorial garden. Are they going to talk about how the garden actually didn't happen? I mean, not the way that the families were told. I hope they mention that, because they're calling out a lot of stuff. So I hope they mention how, like, the victims' names were basically used as a falsehood, under a falsehood, to get like $800,000. I think is what it was altogether for this memorial thing, and then they ended up switching some stuff up. So I hope that they actually put that in there, because that was crap. Okay. Walker called it an incredibly powerful and driven student project involving students in the College of Art and Architecture, reaching out to the families of students who have died and to the wider community for ideas on how to honor the students, made the student community feel stronger, Weidenfeld said. For students like Weidenfeld, this healing garden will not just honor the 4 who were fatally stabbed. He said it meant to memorialize all students who didn't live to see graduation day, which was not the original thing, which, again, that's fine. That's awesome that you want to do that for everybody, but still, and this doesn't matter, because he was told to. He was acting and he was following instructions the way that an actor does. Okay. Let's see. The university is also in the process of designing a memorial garden on campus to honor Kernodle, Chapin, Mogen, and Goncalves. Yeah. Scholarships have been created in memory of Kernodle, Chapin, and Mogen. The U of I is working with the Goncalves family to develop a 4th scholarship in her name. Mementos left by local residents to honor the victims were seen next to the house's parking lot. The 4 students received posthumous degrees and certificates at U of I's spring commencement ceremony in May. But I thought Kaylee got hers in December. Didn't Kaylee get hers in December because she graduated early? Unless they did it twice. Yeah, I don't honestly know why it's taking forever. Because they're already like, they're wanting to hide the exhibits for something that's going to be a public hearing, but they've basically already like given the county that they want to use like a heads up, which to me is going to cause like more. I thought she did. Wasn't that like the whole reason why she was working from home? Because she was graduating early. Because that's been the story the whole time. Right, but she would have been graduating in December if, she was still breathing. Her goal was to graduate early, which was why she was working from home. So I guess that would explain why they ended up doing it all together later. Yeah. Stuff like that. Like, I know it's important to remember, but my brain is so focused on like the night of the crime and figuring out that like few hour window that some of this other stuff kind of like gets all thrown together. Right, wasn't it Steven, the brother? Yeah. That's crazy. That's literally, like, right after they moved her to the state of the public defender's office. I'm gonna have to look some stuff up because that's crazy. That literally, like, just happened. Hmm, hmm, okay. Okay, the house's owner donated the property to U of I in February, and university officials have said they plan to tear the house down. Yeah, we know how horrible all that was. Green said demolishing the house will be a healing step for the community. No, I beg to differ. But the demolition plans are on hold until October after some of the victims' families asked the university for a delay until the suspect in the slaying stands trial. Which, okay, if they agreed to it one time, why not agree to it a second time? Oh, well, still, I still find it interesting because they literally moved her, like, literally just a few weeks ago. So, like, I am intrigued. It's very interesting. But yeah, so right here, they were, like, totally willing to hold the house until trial. What changed? And I don't wanna I mean, obviously, probably the trial date being pushed back or whatever, but if they were willing to do it in the first place, then why not just continue that same momentum of waiting? I would love to know, like, why all of a sudden it just makes me so mad that that house is gone. It really does. After the murders, the property owner donated the home to the University of Idaho, which planned to demolish it before the start of the school's fall semester as a healing gesture for the community and to prevent efforts to sensationalize the crime scene. The King Road house, the crime scene where four University of Idaho students were murdered last year, was demolished earlier in the morning this Thursday, with construction crews beginning demolition at 6:30 a.m. Yeah, it was dark when they started. I remember getting up that morning and watching it on live and being like, "Dang, like the sun ain't even up yet. They couldn't even wait." So see, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and let y'all talk because I don't want to get confused. Yeah, I heard. I saw the reason why. I mean, honestly, like I said, I don't feel like he should have been in the hot seat to begin with. That's just my opinion on the case. But that's crazy too that that just kind of like proves like corruption's all over the place. It doesn't really matter if you have money or not. People are going to do whatever they're going to do. They did. I was just really surprised that it was still in the dark. Really surprised it was still in the dark. Members of the media surrounded the house and directed their cameras towards the destruction. Walker confirmed that 100% of the apartments and houses surrounding the King Road House students and that the presence of the house affected these students. We heard from students in the area that they were ready for the house to come down, but who? I'd like to know who. Because again, like I know that they have like some school related houses right there from like Greek or whatever. But there's also people that have children and go to work every day and pay like normal ass bills that also live in that neighborhood. I'm just never going to agree with the house being taken down, like literally ever. Shannon Gray, attorney for the Goncalves family, said the university is disregarding family's request that the home be left standing until after Kohberger's trial. We just want justice for our loved ones, the statement read. We want to start healing. We do. And we want to find justice and try to move on from this horrible tragedy. So please start making some decisions, get to work, and quit playing the delay game. The previously unidentified former roommate at the King Road House in Moscow, where four University of Idaho students were killed in late 2022, has publicly come forward in her efforts to contribute to the lasting legacy of her friends. Bro, for real. That's so uncouth. Uncouth. Yeah, I know. I just find it ridiculous. I'm still curious if he's gonna end up being subpoenaed again, because he was subpoenaed as, I believe, a defense witness whenever we were still doing a preliminary hearing, and then all of that was canceled, and his subpoena was, like, null and void because we weren't having a prelim anymore. But I wonder if they're gonna end up calling him closer to trial, or if they even can anymore because he's talked, like, so much. I just don't think that he can. Thank you, baby. I just don't think that he's gonna be able to, be subpoenaed. He went on multiple YouTube channels, and he probably shouldn't have. Okay, said she chose to speak out for the first time to honor the lives lost and bring awareness to college students about being safe on social media platforms. See, I mean, all said and good. I mean, that's great. You want to come out here and talk about social media awareness. But when we're hearing from the prosecution that everything that that they've been trying to push in our faces, or at least one family has been trying to push into our faces about social media, has been completely false, like most of us already figured that it was. So, like I said, like, that's cool that you want to come out here and talk about social media awareness or whatever, but that really doesn't have anything to do with this if their story's right. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but nothing does. It crosses my mind more than that could have happened while I was there. And you never know how long someone is watching your house, Couch said in her interview with blah, blah, blah with Spokane. We went over that interview. I remember that. I remember my last text message to her was like, "Are you okay?" I feel like right then and there, I kind of just knew that something was wrong. I mean, I couldn't even walk to my car in the dark for months after it happened, Couch told the TV station. Now, Couch and her mother have founded a nonprofit, the Made with Kindness Foundation, to raise money for outreach in a national scholarship fund. Couch said she wants to ensure her former roommates are remembered in a positive light rather than the way in which their lives were taken. The parents of victim Goncalves have consistently vented frustrations about the length of time the case has taken, more than 17 months and counting since Kohberger's arrest, to bring to trial. The court needs to take control of the case and the attorneys involved, the Goncalves family said in a statement obtained by the Idaho Statesman after the 2 hearings last month. As long as the court continues to entertain anything and everything at every hearing, the delay will never end. Steve, you mean the way that you have entertained every little bitty thing that has been thrown at you from every little freaking content creator out there ever that you have run amok with? I'm going to try to just keep all that to myself in this episode, at least. Family members of one of the victims in the November quadruple homicide in Moscow are urging people to complete random acts of kindness on her behalf today. Yeah, Kaylee Jade Day. The media has also kept this case in the public's consciousness by providing constant updates on court proceedings, no matter how trivial. These hearings have covered a range of topics, from the court-imposed gag order to evidentiary disputes. As part of the coverage, the victims' families and the public have been critical of perceived efforts by the defense to delay the trial. There was also significant coverage surrounding the defense's change of venue survey, which came to light after the government filed an unsealed motion to stop the data collection process. Oh yeah, whenever the prosecution called and was like, "Hey, we're going to tattle on you for doing this survey. I'm telling the teacher." This resulted in another deluge of prejudicial coverage and discussion on social media and YouTube after 2 hearings were streamed on court TV and watched by thousands, more like hundreds of thousands, but okay. The media drew on the prosecution's court filing and arguments during the live streamed proceeding, accusing the defense of spreading misinformation and tainting the jury pool. And it's so funny because this was like one of those other prime examples. Hey, Heather. Hey, Jumbo. Sorry if I missed anybody. Hey, Salty Grace. I don't know if there's anybody else that I've missed. I'm kind of just like skimming through them as I go. But what's really interesting here is that we saw the same theme happen where Bryan Kohberger has basically stated from the beginning that he wasn't going to have anything presented basically at all from his side, that he was going to use everything that the state is saying is evidence against him, against them to prove that he is innocent. He did that exact same thing right then and there, because their false statements against him, the stalking and the social media stuff that was never true, they then had to come out and say, but this is a false statement, but this wasn't true. This isn't a fact of this case. He literally, without even having to, was able to use their own boo-boo against them because Santa couldn't help himself. That's wild to me that he's been able to basically do that this entire time. Even now, in those 2 court hearings they're talking about, where Mallory and Payne and all of them and Cyree came and like really gave us some info, or lack thereof info, right? Every damn thing has been the discovery that he has been able to flip around on its back and put it right back in the prosecution's face. That's crazy. Like, he's literally keeping his word on how this case is going to go. So the trial is going to be hella interesting for sure. For sure. Where'd I go? Okay. The media drew on the prosecution's court filings and arguments during the live streamed proceedings, accusing the defense of spreading misinformation and tainting the jury pool. This coverage fed the public perception that the defense was trying to undermine the judicial process or get Kohberger off on a legal technicality, and further undermined the court's efforts to stem the flow of information to prospective jurors. Examples of this media coverage. So this is media coverage that is coming from the 2 crazy hearings. And you know why this is actually like a really good example? This is a really, really good example. And this isn't going to get political. So if anybody starts arguing politics, whatever, do what you're going to do. Just don't be stupid about it. The truth is this, okay? During the Trump rally, a gun really did go off. Okay? You heard them. There was like, it ended up being like nine pew-pews at the end of it, right? The media that is more Democrat ran, more left wing, I guess you can say, we're saying things like Trump falls during loud noise at rally. Never mind the fact somebody actually lost their life and 2 people were injured, but it was just a loud noise and the orange man got scared and fell down, is how a lot of the media was presenting it. So that just tells you the media, this is the reason why mainstream media is becoming so freaking useless. Useless. Banfeld, all of them, useless, because they don't do whatever they know is right. They do what they get paid to do. It was stupid. Hella stupid. So I'm glad that they're looking at this, because there was threads and threads and threads on Twitter of all of these big, huge mainstream, CNN, New York Post, all of these that were just coming up with the most ridiculous headlines instead of just the fact. There was a gunman. Somebody got shot, somebody got killed, a couple people got injured. Put that in a headline and just tell the truth. It's very, 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 very stupid. Very, very stupid. Okay. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson said the questions on the survey were completely inappropriate for potential jurors, and that the information in the questions was false and inadmissible, and that the questions violated the non-dissemination order. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson argued the survey is violating the court's non-dissemination order that prohibits attorneys from making out-of-court statements about the case to the public. That is reckless conduct, and it's outrageous, Thompson said about the survey questions. Thompson reiterated that Kohberger's defense is allowed to conduct a survey, but the questions in this particular survey were inappropriate and jeopardized Kohberger's right to a fair trial. You have to also wonder, did Santa suddenly grow a conscience, and that's why he stood up and threw a fit? Or was it really the PowerPoint that pissed him off? I've really kind of been wondering that, because all these false statements, and he was like, these are false and you know it. And he really got heated. I know the camera's a little bit far from the face, but he was a little bit red. There was emotion in what he was saying. Did he suddenly have a conscience, realizing all the lies, listening to this survey? Did it hit him then that this entire thing is bullshit? Because he was real quiet after that. So I've been just kind of wondering, like, did it hit him in the brain finally that he's being a liar? That things aren't adding up right? I guess we'll never know. That it's reckless conduct and it's outrageous, Thompson said about the survey questions. Thompson reiterated that Kohberger's defense is allowed to conduct a survey, but the questions of this particular survey were inappropriate and jeopardized Kohberger's right to a fair trial. We are trying to salvage a mess, Thompson said. Thompson's office found out about the survey questions in March from Latah County residents who recorded the phone survey. The Karens, you mean? I'm never going to get over that town. A town of Karens. Like ridiculous. Oh my gosh, somebody called me and asked me questions. I'm going to call the cops. It's just crazy to me. Thompson accused Edelman's survey of including loaded questions that introduce information, including false information, about the case to the survey takers. In his closing statement, Thompson said it seems the defense is okay with tainting jurors to ascertain the bias of other potential jurors. Okay, but y'all have been okay with false information being out there for 18 months. Hypocrite. Thompson accused Edelman's surveys. I already read that one. Thompson said the information is now planted into the Latah County residents who took the survey. You mean how millions of people have it planted in their brain that he was stalking them on social media, even though it wasn't true? Come on. Yeah. Call Spider-Man. For any of y'all that are watching the JP Miller interviews. Just insane. So stupid. Like, come on. Those are definitely let me see your manager type people, because come on. But seriously, I don't understand like what his argument was in this. And that's why I'm like, did he suddenly get a conscience? Because he had to do something, right? He had people calling. And he knew that he had to do something because the citizens were now aware and actively making it known that they were aware that something was going on. So he knows in today's day and age that he was going to have to do something, or else it was just going to end up on YouTube or on TikTok or somebody's channel by that weekend about them getting a call about some survey and not knowing what the hell's going on because the courts are being all quiet. Y'all know damn well that if what happened didn't happen, it was going to be all over social media in just a few hours. For real. So I don't know. That's why I'm like, did he just suddenly get a conscience? And that's why he's like throwing a fit? I doubt it, but wishful thinking. I sometimes try to have a little bit of hope for humanity, even though it's usually not worth it. I do not question the right of the defense to commission surveys, responsible, proper surveys as part of the debate over venue, but this survey cannot stand. I gotta turn this light down, guys. It's hurting my eyes. I'm sure y'all can still see me though. Yeah. The prosecutor, defense attorney, and judge in the Bryan Kohberger case participated in a heated argument Thursday regarding due process in a survey of potential jurors in Latah County. Judge John Judge was frustrated about the survey. Was he? Was he frustrated about the survey because he really literally stated sitting in his throne that he knew this was coming? Like he was expecting a survey. Right, and that was my other thing too, Heather. Like, excuse me, sir. We wouldn't be all like hearing none of this boo-boo right now if you wouldn't have like called this emergency meeting to tell the teacher. What do you mean? And then, yeah, to stand there and read them all out loud. Like, why wasn't this a closed session away from the public if all of this was so detrimental? Well, and see, that's why I'm glad that they mentioned something in this that I've never even thought of before, because with him running for sheriff, like he apparently would have something to really, really for real do with the jurors that come in. And that's a humongous conflict of interest that my brain didn't put together. So I'm glad that they called it out in here because I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about it. Hey, woke up. I don't know if I would be afraid of pain. I think the only thing I'd be afraid of paying for is his like dumbassery, because he's basically admitted that he knows absolutely nothing. And he goes and gets all of his information from other people. And my whole point is, if you're not taking notes, you don't have recorded notes, memo notes, you're not having emails, you're just playing the game of telephone, your brain does not have the education that it needs in order to carry that conversation to put it on paper. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. So it's just, I'd be scared of staying of the lack of IQ of pain than anything else. Let's see, where were we? Okay. He said that the survey happening without the commission of the court or the state was troublesome, and that the questions planted seeds to encourage people to look up information about the case. I'm sorry, but if you call me about a case and you're telling me, have you read, seen, or heard this, and this about this person, regardless of what the questions are, I'm probably going to run to Google. Probably going to do it while I'm on the phone with you. So I don't really know if like the questions would have really had anything to do with a human's natural curiosity to look stuff up anyway. Honestly, Taylor and judge got into a heated argument over due process stemming from judge's order filed March 22nd that prohibited the defense and prosecution from contacting potential jurors about the case. This was in response to the survey, which again, I did feel like was he just jumped the gun for what? That's a bold statement. I mean, yeah, he's a little off. He's hella off. For sure. The defense in the Bryan Kohberger case has been ordered to pause surveying potential jurors in Latell County due to problematic questions they asked 400 potential jurors. The list of questions that were of concern to the prosecution included information in Kohberger's arrest, DNA evidence found at the crime scene that was matched to Kohberger owning the same car, recorded on video, driving in the neighborhood where the murders occurred. That's not true. That's not true. No one is ever going to convince me that they have footage of his vehicle. Because if they did have footage of his vehicle, they would have showed us a long time ago. If they had footage of a vehicle that they knew for sure was an exact match to the bullshit they said to us, we would have gotten still shots of the actual 51 terabytes of stuff, not just stuff they found on Google. And then we have Anne saying, what? This isn't his car at the smoke shop in between Moscow and Pullman. So why is this even in here? Y'all spend all this time piecing together and cutting and pasting and putting the audio to the video and all the things, and you're giving me a car that doesn't even belong to my client? What is this shit? That's why I couldn't be a lawyer. She did that so eloquently and even said, I don't think the state's trying to do any of these things on purpose. No, I would be calling you the hell out. By your last name, by the name your mama calls you. I'd be going off. Right. Only in Pullman, only of him leaving his apartment. It's like they wanted the car to go east so bad that they just looked for a car that went east that looked like that car. Or they did it backwards and they followed a car somewhere, but then they got lost somewhere else. And if there really is 22,000 vehicles of just one make and model, think about all the other makes and models that look similar to that. So you might as well just like quadruple that number of vehicles that could have been driving around just that time frame that look similar to each other in black and white photos, like black and white video. Yeah. Never mind that, right? Like, never mind that the car doesn't make any sense and that the phone doesn't match up and wasn't connecting to anything near the King Road residence at the time. Just forget all of that information. Just drives me wild. I cannot believe, like, you really could convict anything with the kind of crap that they are saying now. Okay. Cell phone data showing Kohberger making several trips to the victim's home. Where did that come from? Like, I know that this is all like reporting out of something, but do we know exactly where? I'm pretty sure there's like a thing somewhere that tells me, because that's wild, because it doesn't even really say that in the PCA. As much as As much as they tried to make the probable cause exhibit relevant, they still didn't even put he was at their actual freaking house all them times. They were just like, oh, the cell towers around the house. Whoever this came from is like literally making several trips to the victim's home. That's wild. That is so wild. In the month before the killings, university students and parents living in fear until Kohberger's arrest, Kohberger's alibi, Kohberger potentially stalking one of the victims, and if Kohberger followed one of the victims on social media, which we didn't. I mean, which we know he didn't, and he didn't. Yeah. I am never going to let this go. I had no idea. I would have been even more like adamant on things if I would have known that. And I don't remember ever reading that. Like ever. But it's just like I told Mikey, I was like, well, it was behind a paywall. That's probably why I didn't know. I didn't ever like read this or try to pay attention to it. But that's what I want to know. Like, was it the same FBI agent that got it wrong from a Nissan to a Hyundai? And why is there so many issues with the car? Just the dispatch of whenever he got pulled over and it's given the cop another type of vehicle is weird as hell. It really is super weird. Yeah, it is. It's very clever. Because most people don't pay attention. Hey, Mikey. Yeah, because most people don't pay attention to the fact that those cell phone towers are like have such like a wide radius. They really don't pay attention to that at all. A lot of people don't think about that kind of thing. They really just don't. Yeah, that's what I meant. The dispatch one. And I'm like, y'all. So y'all just gonna like glance over. And then she said what? She said, oh, it looks like it probably said sedan. When on a car's registration do you ever see it just say the make and then sedan? Not me ever. It's always year, make, and model, and then gives you like a description of four-door sedan, SUV, truck, something like that, right? So for that dispatch person to be like, oh, I must run it. It must just say sedan. Where are you reading this from? Whitcom? Where are you reading it from? Legit. Right there. That's another thing that I found strange. Why didn't she like instantly do what a cop normally would do in that situation? Because you're right. You so right. Basically, pretty much like every traffic stop of Bryan Kohberger's that we have seen from Idaho and Indiana have been weird as shit and not protocol. Yeah. Not for them to tell me it's a Hyundai sedan. That could be literally any car ever. Crazy people. But yeah, I don't know. Weirdest ones ever from both states. Both states. I wonder if he ever got pulled over in Pennsylvania anywhere. And it was just as strange. See, a lot of people think that. I don't think so. But then again, we don't know what he was into, honestly. Like, it's all just a bunch of guesswork. We know like 5%, 7% maybe. I'm not even going to give it a whole 10. That's being too gracious. Okay. Judge expressed disappointment in the survey by saying the prosecution and defense have worked so hard to protect a fair trial, which was the point of the non-dissemination order. He is concerned the survey will inject prejudicial information into the jury pool. Judge John Judge will decide whether a survey of potential jurors in the Bryan Kohberger case inappropriately spread prejudicial information about the case. I still don't understand how the prosecution isn't in trouble. I feel like they should be in trouble for just like allowing false information out there the way that they did. Perfect word, I guess. Prosecutor Bill Thompson took issue with several questions in a phone survey created by Brian Edelman, who is a survey expert hired by Kohberger's defense attorney, Ann Taylor. How do you think Dr. Edelman felt as he wrote that sentence about how he's a survey expert. Because he wrote that. The questions Thompson is concerned about ask the participants if they have read, seen, or heard about certain details about the Kohberger case. Some of the details are not even true, Thompson said. That still just is going to blow my mind. I think that's just always going to blow my mind. They just allowed this freaking insanity for no reason. And you know what else? This is something I've been wanting to do a little video about by itself, because I know most of you guys have seen it. It's the same episode of Andrew D. Myers where Bloom was talking about that boo-boo bomb crap that didn't come into fruition. Because aren't we supposed to have been hearing a bunch of reporting on it by now, Howie? What was that, Howie? And nobody's saying anything, right? No, I don't watch Truth and Transparency. I just don't. But somebody posted something about something that she posted about the situation that she found out. I mean, she's good at digging, so I'm going to end up looking at it and doing a comparison or whatever. But in that exact same episode, he also said, what was it that Bloom said? Not Bloom. Andrew Myers had an interview from... Not an interview. I can't even talk. See, I'm trying to look here and look at the chat, and I'm talking. Okay, get it together. Andrew D. Myers had an email from Steve Goncalves that he showed during this interview that stated that the state was still having a hard time trying to connect Bryan. I feel like you probably are going a bit mad because those happened a month in between each other. Yeah. A month, I'm pretty positive. Because we know Idaho was 11/13 and Brent was what date? The 13th of December, right? Yeah. So I'm going to end up doing a little episode, just a tiny, tiny video, probably not even a full 8-minute, which is the big length for YouTube, just tiny. I don't entertain. Well, I like to watch whatever Bloom is saying because he's so full of crap. And I like calling him out for being full of crap. Andrew Myers, I just watch because he's an attorney and he seems to actually not be on the Bryan guilty train. Almost the whole panel really seems to be pretty level-ish from what I've seen so far. Granted, I've only watched 3 videos. The 15th. Okay. I don't know. Where's that? I don't know that movie. Goat. I know of a video game named Goat Simulator. I don't know about a movie named Goat. I do remember that being super cray-cray. I do remember that being super cray-cray. Yeah. But see, something similar happened in the Kylie Rodney case too, where there was some sort of FOIA for Kylie to the feds, I think it was, and it had a bunch of people talking. It's about frats. The true story behind the new fraternity hazing film Goat. It says it is. Nick Jonas. Yeah, it says Goat's true story. And hazing is a problem. Hazing is a big issue. A big issue. I didn't know that there was a movie out there. I might have to watch it. I'm not a Jonas fan. It's from 2016. It's an MTV movie. James Franco. Oh, sorry. No, I won't watch anything with James Franco. Not since he got accused and proven to have done a bunch of nasty stuff at his dance studio or acting studio where he would slip things off that were supposed to protect the genitalia during certain scenes. And he just thought that it was cute that he could. We don't watch James Franco anymore. So it's probably not going to happen. Okay. Let's get back to this. They include questions on whether the participants knows about the knife sheath allegedly found at the crime scene, the multiple visits to the crime scene Kohberger allegedly took, that Moscow residents lived in fear following the crime, and that Kohberger had allegedly stalked the victims, which is not true at all. Thompson is concerned about specific questions regarding what he says is false information that was not in the probable cause affidavit. Okay, well, you can't sit there and put in the probable cause affidavit that he was in the vicinity on the cell phone towers 12 times up to like the time of the murder in like a 3-month period, and then expect people not to instantly assume that you are instigating that he stalked them. Yeah. We've cut a lot of people out of our lives. Jack Black was the most recent one. Because you've got some disgusting behavior. Honestly. We don't watch Tom Cruise because he won't have anything to do with his daughter simply because the mom doesn't want her to be in the Scientology cult. There's a lot of actors like we just can't watch people anymore, because every single time that you watch anything, even if it's on Netflix, okay, even if it's on Netflix, that's still like revenue for them. So yeah, we've cut a lot of people. We've cut a lot of people and shows out of our lives, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. When Thompson questioned Edelman about the survey, the exchange between the two men became heated, and Taylor accused Thompson of badgering Edelman. Latah County District Judge John Judge is allowing Bryan Kohberger's defense to continue asking potential jurors to participate in a survey regarding the quadruple murder case. Judge officially lifted his previous order, banning the defense from contacting prospective jurors in Latah County and other Idaho counties. In conclusion, my review of the pretrial publicity indicates that the Latah County jury pool has been saturated with prejudicial coverage surrounding the sensational murders of 4 University of Idaho students, the ensuing search for the killer, public statements from the victims' family members, and evidentiary details after Bryan Kohberger's arrest. The media reported extensively on alleged evidence, some of which proved to be false or misleading. These killings sent shockwaves through the local community and generated a state of panic. Between 25% and 40% of the student body failed to return to Moscow after the Thanksgiving break. Before the defendant's arrest, there was widespread frustration with the lack of details made public about the ongoing investigation. With minimal official information available, rumors, speculation, and misinformation proliferated. And I'll say again, like I said yesterday, I understand, like in the beginning, why they maybe wanted, like both sides maybe wanted, yeah, I was about to say right there, why both sides maybe wanted the gag order. But at this point in time, with everything that Bryan is claiming, with everything, well, let me retract, Mr. Silence. With everything that Bryan's team is claiming, wouldn't lifting the gag order be like the best thing he could do right now? Like, wouldn't it be the best thing that they could do right now is fight to have the gag order lifted? Because the Goncalves family have been trying to get the gag order lifted for like ever, since the very beginning. So it would be really interesting if the Goncalveses and the defense team could come together to fight the gag order. Could they do that? Yeah, pretty much. And honestly, they did a good enough job of that during these freaking hearings. Do you think the judge would deny it if a victim's family member, like family and the defense came together? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It might be worth a shot. I just feel like if the gag order was lifted and some truth, obviously there's stuff that cannot be released until trial. That's normal for every case, no matter how open it is. Even though they were so open and willing to give information in the Long Island serial killer case, there's still going to be some crazy mind-blowing information that comes out in court that wasn't released. So they could do the same thing here. There's plenty of, they could literally just release like one piece of information that actually puts something together here and makes it make sense. And a lot of this would stop. They're not subject to the gag order, but the attorneys for the families are, and the attorneys for the families are the only ones getting any information, honestly. And so the attorneys that are getting little fragments of information here and there, like Shannon Gray, Even though he's not really like doing anything, he still gets bits and pieces of information. He's not allowed to tell the Goncalveses that stuff because of the gag order. That's how I'm understanding everything. But it's been like that forever. Hey, SARS. Hi. Yeah, I mean, not just saying it. Not just saying it, like hand on the shoulder, wholeheartedly believing. And the other girl too. The dark-haired girl. Yeah, at least a crumb. Just give me, you don't have to give me all four corners, but give me at least like the middle piece. Like give me something. Give the world something to die down all of this chaos. Like I've kind of said that from the beginning. Like they know what they're doing. And as much as they want to sit here and complain about the social media stuff, like literally all they've done is, oh, well, they talk to this person and social media this and oh, TikTok this and YouTube this. You could have stopped that at any moment. Taylor, Thompson, all of you. Not you guys. Not you guys. You guys. Y'all could have stopped this at any moment. Why didn't they? Because the crazier it looks, that would be interesting. Because if it ain't a 13, why are we hearing about it? Right? Yeah. She was like ready to go. I'm waiting. I mean, I heard that the motions for limine don't get filed until we get closer to trial, but they've been saying that about the genealogy stuff from the beginning, but then they've allowed how many hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tax dollars to go into the fight between the two sides for the IGG information that's just going to be considered useless because they're going to end up filing a motion of limine anyway. They've been telling us that forever. And I'm just like, y'all have gone through all of these fights. Y'all have literally had closed and public sessions just on the IGG that you plan on making irrelevant. Why is that allowed? Like if you've spent X amount of time arguing a certain subject, you shouldn't be allowed to file a motion to get it taken out. Once you've already done so much with it, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. It should have to stay inside the courtroom. Yeah, and they love it. That's what I'm saying. Like they complain so much, but they use it to their advantage. They use it to hide the truth. They use it because they know that as long as there's like all these rabbit holes and stuff that everybody's going down, that we're not going to see what we need to see. And we're not going to go looking for it because there's already going to be so much stuff in front of our faces. No, they don't. Not like Ann Taylor does. And definitely not the way that the Delphi attorneys do. Because them dudes, I mean, something might have changed by now, but they were doing shit for free for months, not getting paid. And it was for real. So no, there's a difference between a defense attorney just doing their job and a defense attorney that believes in their job. There's a huge difference. They never told us. People are like assuming a bunch of different things. Some people thought it was that one incel guy's memorandum or book or whatever you call the thing. And then some people thought that it was maybe from that book. He went to some, he went to some book signing thing or whatever. He went to some book signing thing, and a whole bunch of people think that man, there's crazy shit going on everywhere. Have y'all seen? We're just gonna take a second. We're gonna take a second. Yeah, manifesto, that thing. We're gonna get back to this in a second, but I just want to ask a question. How many of y'all are paying attention to what the hell's going on at the Capitol right now? Yeah, page 118. How many of y'all are paying attention right now about what's going on at the Capitol? And that Biden is supposed to address the nation? Because there's a bunch of crazy shit. Like, fighter jets are getting scrambled, and the Liberty Bell has basically been completely graffiti tagged. They are tearing down flags and burning them and putting Palestinian flags up on the poles. All of this while the president of Israel like is here and was completely snubbed by Biden and Kamala. The same day that he like stepped down. Well, the flags have been lowered at the Capitol because that one lady died a couple days ago. That one lady that hates Trump. I can't remember her name. I've heard lots of things about Biden. He spoke already. See, I was just going to watch it later. Yeah, I've been seeing some stuff about Russia and Alaska. That's been going on for like 2 days. Yeah, Twitter, like I follow Raw's alerts on Twitter because they quick with it. And so I just checked and I'm like, dang. God. Not what I'm trying to talk about, but damn. I might actually go live this weekend just so that we can talk about the world. Because I mean, I might do it on my other channel, even though it's demonetized because YouTube hates me for some reason. But we might just like sit here and talk about stuff because it's getting crazy. As a parent, like it's getting scurry. Like me and my oldest daughter were talking about it earlier, and I was like, maybe I really need to just like go get a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we're good on like couponing stuff, but like other things, I'm like, maybe I need to go stock up on some shit because I don't know what I'm gonna wake up to. Friday was crazy with the CrowdStrike thing updating incorrectly with like the wrong programming code or whatever the day after all this crazy shit. And I'm like, bro, they did that on purpose. Ain't nobody gonna tell me otherwise. And now we've got like hacks and leaks and all kind of crazy stuff. And I'm just like, oh well, yeah, I've looked up all the projects and all the agendas and all them things. I do talk about politics on my other channel, but they totally like demonetize me on my second channel. And all I was doing during the Trump rally was taking the same news clips, condensing them down to like the important stuff and like resharing them just to like get the information out as much as like I could with what was happening. And they demonetized me. Crazy people. I did get a lot of my money out the bank, yeah. Actually, Friday morning, which I had to drive to freaking Houston on Friday morning. And I was like, oh, great. We're going to get there and everything's going to be super crazy. Luckily, my daughter's hospital didn't have any issues, but they were having a paper chart at the hospitals in Washington State. And this, we are still coming back from the Change Healthcare hack. Okay, I work in the medical field. The Change Healthcare hack from, I think it was like February. We're still not even bounced back from that, guys. And this was another situation that stopped people from being able to get their freaking medications from the pharmacy. That's scary shit. Well, she should have Macarenaed her ass down to the border 4 years ago because I'm not impressed by her. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not impressed by none of it. I don't vote, guys. I believe both sides don't give a damn about nobody. The way that they let these horrible, disgusting criminals out with a slap on the wrist so that they can come out here and get all crazy. I gotta wait like 3 months. I think they said something about October, and I'm like, whatever, stupids. As long as you don't mess with my real channel, this one, then I'm fine. But that's why I got to keep it like, I gotta pay attention. Yeah. I'm not impressed by either side. Trump, his personality is crap, but my money moneyed really well whenever Trump was president. Like I could invest in the stock market. It wasn't scary. It was interesting to say the least. And I felt like there wasn't so much animosity in the world as much as he seems like somebody that kind of carries it with him. Like I don't remember the world feeling this angry. You know what I mean? I don't feel like the world was this angry. Because now you can just kind of feel it. Hey, Lemon. So I don't know. I'm just hoping for the best for everything because I'm trying to raise these kids in a world that is trying to turn my kids into anything other than what they actually are meant to be. So it's crazy. And then all the stuff with Mr. Beast and like all this other stuff. there's a lot of crazy shit going on. I mean, we thought Hollywood was bad when it comes to like the kind of stuff that happens in Hollywood when it comes to like executives and girls and lower levels and stuff. But damn if YouTube and all this stuff right here. I know a lot of people believe that, but it's not. Because they gonna do what they want to do anyway, honey. I'm sorry, but that's just true. They're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna put in that seat who they want to put in that seat, and our vote don't matter. They put y'all all together. Tell me why it makes any sense for a whole bunch of strangers to get together and go and vote at a freaking elementary school around a whole bunch of little baby kids. I've never agreed with that. A lot of people hide behind the Bible hypocritically. We should be all single for a while. I've been single for some years. Let's be single for a while. I mean, yeah, we'll get back to it in a second. I said I was stopping for a second because our freaking Capitol's on fire. You don't have to stay. What? I don't even understand why people watch the Olympics, honestly. And I already like didn't care about the Olympics, but then I heard that they were allowing this man that went to jail for doing something horrible, like a 12-year-old girl, to compete. And their excuse, once everybody found out, was that he already served his time. So they weren't going to do anything about it. And I'm like, no, you be damned. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Mm-mm. That part. Which is also why this part matters. But it doesn't at the same time, because once people get to a certain level in politics, they're easily bought or they're threatened in order to be bought. That's why I just don't trust it. That's why I just don't trust it. But yeah, I just wanted to like stop for a second and talk about that because damn, I wasn't expecting to check my phone and see that the world is like on fire. I mean, damn. I know it's crazy. It's just insane. Freaking insane. I just want everybody to be safe and aware. That's really all I want, is like make sure. I mean, that's you. I'm not going to argue with you about your belief system. I know how it works because I've seen it in real life. Once you get to a certain level in the United States as a politician, you do not stay true to yourself. You stay true to whatever is going to get you the highest political votes that you can get in order for you to become the person with power. Because in the end, it's all about power and money. So if you want to like vote for like maybe a mayor, maybe, but most of the time the mayors are just as corrupt. Houston is literally kissing Kamala Harris's ass right now when she is the biggest reason why we have so many illegal immigrants coming in and killing women and children and doing a lot of other horrible things. So even though he's the mayor and it's low level, he's literally kissing the ass of the person who's responsible for the fact that that 12-year-old little girl was just raped and killed by 2 people. The reason why Rachel Morin is no longer here. The reason why Laken Riley was killed. Those people that you vote for end up kissing the asses of people like that. Bro, for real. My dad is a 70-year-old Vietnam vet from the Navy. And he's pretty much just convinced at this point that like Biden is no longer alive and somebody else is in control. I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. And it's crazy. And I mean, a lot of people don't like to talk about politics in the true crime world, but in the end, those laws, like the laws that allowed these people to come in after they murdered people in other countries and they've just been allowed to like walk around all willy-nilly. Those laws are the reason why we got a lot of these stories out here. The laws about how, like, people like my ex just keep getting slaps on the wrist while they go out and do worse things the next time. How many cases have we seen where the people have been in jail, in and out of jail for violent crimes where people or children were hurt, and they're just allowed out to do it again and again and again. These laws are not to protect you, they're to put money in their pockets. I have my own stance on that, and it should be situational, in my opinion. It should be situational. And it also should not be used as birth control, because that's a big problem. People would rather do whatever they need to do to fix what they did irresponsibly than be responsible adults to begin with, which isn't what needs to be preached. Yeah, go check it out. Go check it out. There was even a bunch of bombs and stuff that were found in New York today, and they had to shut down a bunch of streets in New York. Bombs taped to hairspray cans. The world is literally on fire. It's literally on fire. Okay. All right, let's see where we stopped off right here. Okay. Here we go. The survey data indicate that the media coverage has negatively impacted the Latell County jury pool. For example, 98% of the Latell County survey respondents have read, seen, or heard about the case, and 86% recognized at least 4 of 9 media items tested in the survey. 81% of those familiar with the case have read, seen, or heard that police found a knife sheath on the bed next to one of the victims, and 67% heard that DNA found on the sheath matched Bryan Kohberger. Again, defense has not ever once disputed that. They're just questioning how it actually got there. In addition, 88% of Latell County survey respondents have talked about this case or heard other talking about it in person or online. The media coverage has also shifted the burden of proof to the defendant. Many community members exposed to prejudicial media coverage hold a presumption of guilt in this case. 67% of survey respondents familiar with the case believe that Bryan Kohberger is guilty of murder, and 51% reported that he would have a difficult time convincing them otherwise. So yeah, the majority thinks that he's guilty. Yeah, a lot of people think that because they've given us like several different descriptions just in the exhibit. Yes, it is. It is a joke. And it seems like it's a joke everywhere. Like this crazy shit that's going on in the United States, it's not just happening here. It's happening in Ireland, it's happening in Germany, it's happening in Paris, it's happening everywhere. It's scary. Like it literally is like the whole world. It's super wild. Okay, now they're going on about the statistics for the phone survey. Okay. A telephone survey was conducted in Latell County. Comparison surveys were conducted in Ada, y'all done told me already, Ada, Canyon, and Bannock counties. Research Strategies, Inc., which is based in Mobile, Alabama, was hired to field the telephone survey. Standard methodological practices related to the development of the instrument, interviewer training, sampling, and callbacks were closely followed. The survey instrument and methodology adhere to the professional standards and guidelines put forth by the American Society of Trial Consultants. All recognition questions were designed to describe the case using the language found in the media coverage. The surveys were in the field between March 5th and July 6th of 2024. Ultimately, 400 jury eligible residents in Latell County, 400 in Ada County, 200 from Canyon County, and 202 from Bannock County completed the survey. 202. So strange number. Okay. It is my opinion that the results of the telephone survey indicate that there is bias in the Latah County jury pool against the defendant stemming from exposure to pretrial publicity. Sensational crimes are more likely to have a longer lasting impact on the public's consciousness in smaller counties compared to larger ones where violent crimes are more common. That's true too. In addition, informal communication channels, including social media, can have a greater effect in spreading rumors and misinformation about a sensational crime such as this. Latah County is the 11th largest county in Idaho, with just 32,515 residents over the age of 18. 66% or 21,598 of its jury eligible population reside in Moscow, the community most traumatized by the crime. Latah County residents have remained highly invested in this case despite the passage of time. Almost all 98% jury eligible respondents were familiar with the case. In addition, approximately 68% of survey respondents reported that they have followed this case somewhat or very closely, with 29% falling into the latter category. Presumption of guilt. The survey data also indicate that the presumption of innocence has been shifted to a presumption of guilt. Approximately 67% of prospective jurors who were familiar with the case believe Bryan Kohberger is guilty of murder, with 25% falling into the definitely guilty category. The presumption of guilt increased to 81% for those who recognize 7 or more media items tested in the survey. Furthermore, 51% of those who have been exposed to media coverage reported that Kohberger would have a difficult time convincing them that he is not guilty, which increased to 66% for those who recognized 7 or more media items. Just 19% reported that the defendant would not have a difficult time convincing them of his innocence. Okay, but whose fault is that? It's the states. Hey, Twizzy. It's the states. Because they allowed. I mean, it really didn't. It didn't help at all, because some of the people that might have not heard the false statements, and now, because somebody that's like official, that is part of like this entire process, has now contacted these people and said, hey, have you heard he was stalking them? Have you heard he was following them on social media? You know what I mean? Like, if it's not true statements, well, now these people are probably going to think that they are true statements because somebody official just said it to them out loud. Well, that's true too. But how many of those people lied, Twiz? But then again, if you think about it, they said like 98% of the people knew about it. So that means like what, one person? Maybe 2 people? No, I think it was more like what? 8 to 10? Right. That's that right there. They asked it as if it was like a fact. That's true. No, but they know that they're doing a survey about the crime. I don't think it would really matter if it was the defense or the prosecution side. Because honestly, even if the prosecution would have hired this company, they would have done the same questions. So I don't know. But see, but whose fault is it? Hey, Holly Berry. Whose fault is it? Hey, hey. I don't know if I told you hi. I mean, they're not proving their story to me. They're just not proving it to me. They're gonna have to do a whole lot more than what they're doing right now for me to believe their story. That's true too. Oh, thank you. I need to re-dye it. It's all faded to poop. Yeah. Yeah, all of it was public information. This person did not go into any documentation whatsoever. They were not given any information from the defense. They literally just like did media searches. Hey, Alyssa. Yeah, they would have definitely been people that just don't pay attention to the news like that, for sure. But yeah, it was all public. It was stuff from the public of interest website where we get all of our documents that are public. It would have been from any media, any newspaper, local news stations, including the one that there's a guy that works at the local one in Moscow, I believe it is. I might have the town wrong. It might be it's somewhere around there anyway. It's for like the school area or whatever. And somebody like works for the news company that actually knows Ethan and Xana. Yeah, that's the biggest part. Most of it did come from stuff that was written in that stupid probable cause exhibit that Payne wrote. That's basically all been found to be boo-boo. Right, that's true too. That's true too. But the only reason why, this is what I was getting at, okay? You look at all these percentages, right? What would these numbers really be like if the two false statements about social media and stalking would have never come out to the public the way that they did? Because the way that they put it out there in the exhibit and the way that the Goncalveses came out here, and I guess something a lot of people don't pay attention to is the fact that every single time the Goncalveses came out on any of the law and crime, whoever would do their little interviews or whatever. Now I have something in my freaking eye, and it is just going to bother the crap out of me. Anyway, it would be, these percentages would be way, 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 way different if those two false statements hadn't been out there in everyone's faces for over a year before this survey was conducted. The presumption of guilt would be a hell of a lot less, okay, if they didn't have all of these false statements out there being spread and repeated and repeated and repeated with no trial, no proof of anything, the gag order problems, everything being so quiet. These numbers would be different if not for the prosecution being okay with lies. But then again, what I found out is that Taylor could have technically like said something. I don't understand why they just didn't. But that's why I feel like Thompson came out now and was like, "Oh, you know those are false statements. You know that those are that's not true." Why? Because now you know that what you've done to the public is about to be put out in the forefront because all of your lies have caused this to be so unfair. I just don't understand. I just think it's so ridiculous that like they're trying to backpedal when a lot of the damage is already done. Honestly. Okay. Case knowledge. Community members have more than just a passing familiarity with this case. Approximately 79% of Latell County survey respondents recognized at least 5 of 9 media items tested in the survey, and 52% were familiar with 7 or more. And again, 2 of those about stalking and social media being incorrect. So what would the percentage be if it would have been familiar with 5 or more instead of 7? You know what I mean? That's kind of like what I'm getting at. 81% of survey respondents who recognized the case had read, seen, or heard that police found a knife sheath on the bed next to one of the victims, and 67% were aware that the DNA found on the knife sheath was matched to Bryan Kohberger. So 81% of them knew about the knife sheath being found, but 20% less people knew that it was Bryan's. I don't see anybody that would know about the knife sheath not knowing that the DNA source was Bryan's. That doesn't really actually sound like that makes sense. Like literally at all. Literally at all. In addition, 86% of Latah County survey respondents heard that the defendant owns the same type of vehicle recorded on video driving in the neighborhood where the killings occurred. Again, that's not true either. And 79% were aware that cell phone tower data purportedly show that Kohberger made several trips near the victim's home months before the killings. Familiarity with such incriminating details, which came from the probable cause affidavit shared with the media, is particularly concerning given that most were significantly related to prejudgment. For example, 75% of Latah County survey respondents who had read, seen, or heard that DNA found on the knife sheath was later matched to Bryan Kohberger believe he is guilty of murder, and 60% indicated that he would have a difficult time convincing them otherwise. All the media items tested in the survey and significantly related to the presumption of guilt are provided in the table below. Okay, but I guess one of the other questions I would have is, do those exact same... Wait, what's happening? What's going on? Oh, good. I hope everything will be fine. We're just going to put that out there now, that everything is going to be A-okays. No, it wasn't the knife sheath, Susan. It was not the knife sheath. It was DNA evidence from Bryan Kohberger's apartment. It is, from what we're understanding, it's like the pillowcase that had like a stain on it or something like that. It's the blood samples that they took. It's the blood samples that they took that she didn't put with the rest of the evidence. She, as far as I understand, she just like left it on a couch in the apartment. I'm pretty sure that's how that went. Yeah. But it was like 10 days. It was 10 days, and she never said anything to Taylor. She didn't call them, drive it the freaking little 10-minute drive that it would have taken to get over to the Moscow PD to have it then transferred to the ISP lab or whatever. None of the things. She waited until Ann Taylor and her team showed up at Bryan Kohberger's apartment, then informed her of the issue, and then handed it over to her. No, the knife sheath was taken from the house. This was stuff from Bryan Kohberger's apartment after his arrest. See, that's what I kind of thought for a little while too, but then I went back and read it again, and she said something about, you know what, you might be right. She might have slid the paperwork underneath the door, and something else was held in her car. But if that's the case and she kept it in her car trunk the entire time, you're degrading the biologics on that. No, they did actually say that for sure it was blood, because they had on the inventory sheet, and I've said this before that I figure we probably should go back over the documentation. I have it right here. Let me see if I can get this part to pull up so I can show you. So I just turned off the share thing. 1 second. Full PDF. This is over here. So this is like a bunch of documents that got dropped. I think Dinky was going over this again the other day, but pretty much like everybody's had this forever. But I'm going to show you where it actually shows blood or not, because it actually will tell you like positive. Okay. You see right here where it says results, and you have like all these X's and stuff like that. They have, where is it at? So right here, they have a positive for blood, and it's on reddish brown stain on uncased pillow, south side of bed, 2 separate stains, only larger stain tested, and it tested positive for blood, and they took a cutting. That's what this is. And then, oh, I skipped A because there was another one. What do they have it under? I think A was unconclusive. Okay, so yeah, right here they have the dark red spot, small flaked off surface upon touch, west of sink, kitchen, counter. They don't have the result, but it was collected. And it says unable to test, collected without test. So that's also interesting. I forgot about that part. But they also took, so there's B, and then C is right here. Mattress cover on bed in northeast room on edge facing doorway, brown irregular drip, and it tested positive for blood, and they took the entire mattress cover. So you haven't seen any of that? A lot of people think it's nosebleeds. A lot of people think it's nosebleeds. For sure. True freaking story. True story. So yeah, we can easily go back over these. I actually have them like printed out. This is my Idaho 4 folder. It has a lot of stuff in here. And then like this is affidavits and stuff that I have printed that I need to go over because I still wanted to do the comparison between Blakers and Paynes. So I'm probably going to do that eventually too, because it's still something that I want to do. But we can definitely go back through all of this stuff. But let me show you Don Daniels' affidavits or narratives. They're not affidavits, they're narratives. They're down here, right here. So this is on January 19th. And it says, I was asked to meet with Bryan Kohberger's defense team, which consisted of Ann C. Taylor, Michael P. McCarthy, and Jennifer Ginqueen for assistance gaining access to Bryan Kohberger's residence. Upon contact with Taylor, she showed me a signed letter for Bryan Kohberger. Is that the right one? I don't think that's the right one. Nope, it's this one. On the 10th of January. So this one was the second time. Yeah, there was twice. So on the 10th of January, it says, I met with the defense attorney and 3 others from her team for Kohberger at his residence. They showed me a piece of paper signed by Kohberger granting permission to enter his apartment to remove the WSU office keys that had been sitting on the TV stand during the warrant service. Okay. While at the apartment, I explained to the attorney I had forgotten to include the 3 samples taken from the apartment. Three samples. So not the samples information, the samples themselves. And the mattress cover doesn't look like they snipped a cut off of it. It looks like they actually like took the whole thing. Provided her a copy of the return of search. She took the return of search, took the copy of the amended warrant and items seized log from the couch. See what I mean? The couch. So she's like outside of Bryan Kohberger's apartment, waiting for them to get there. They probably, it shows right here, she unlocked the door at 11:25, meaning that the stuff on the couch had been sitting there since they did the warrant. Oh, hey, excited. Thank you for joining. I wish I could get my font to change. I can't figure out how y'all get those fonts to change. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, what you mean? You just forgot. You've been on the job for how long, Miss? The only person who asked them to completely act as if the DNA didn't exist? Because that was her too. She's the only one that was like, oh yeah, there was stuff on the knife sheath. It matched, just so you know, but we're not going to talk about it. We can't talk about it. Pretend I didn't tell you. That was Don Daniels of all freaking people. Oh, good. Message me so I know which account's yours so I can put the two together. Anita messages me on there a lot too. Anita! Well, thank you. Thank you for gifting memberships. That's so sweet. Her coppers. You heard of coppers? I had coppers this morning pop up because the old lady across the street had an accident. I think she's okay though. But I had like 5 cops, 2 big old fire trucks, and 2 huge ambulances shining lights through my window bright and early this morning, and it freaked me out. Yeah, I don't understand. I do not understand. I do not understand. Yes, thank you. That was really sweet. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, there's some similarities that are very much copy and paste, but there is very much a lot of other things that are not the same. Yeah, the DNA part for sure. But yeah, I have no problem going back over these documents. I actually really like these documents because it gives you more to the story. This is where we went through all the stuff about him, like, was he fired or was he not fired? Because if you're fired, then, you know, why do you have to be trespassed? And why is all these other things happening? And da da da. Yeah, it's definitely more to the story. Hey, Lori. Hey, Yasmin. Oh, thank you, Tara. Someone's going to get another one. Awesome. You guys are great. That's really nice of you guys. Yeah. Yeah, I had started doing it on Blakers and Paynes a few months back, and then I don't know where those copies went, and so I had to reprint, which is why I just spent like $25 on my monthly thing from HP when it's only supposed to cost me like $5 because I overprinted like a crazy person. See, some people are saying that, but I don't know for sure if that's actually written down anywhere. I remember that being one of the original rumors. I remember it being one of the original rumors. Tara gifted a membership and it gave it her. She gave her own gifted membership. Is that what just happened? That's funny. That's freaking hilarious. YouTube better get its life together. That's so funny. Yeah, that is nuts. How does that happen? Tara was gifted by Tara. That's funny. I'm gonna have to go back on the other end because I can't see. Like, I can see whenever y'all like do a membership or gift a membership, but I can't see who it actually like gifts it to. Like, I know on the YouTube end it shows all that stuff, but on StreamYard it doesn't show me that. That's so funny. See, the timing is something that a lot of people are questioning too. Oh, show. A show. I'm just so tired of all of it. None of it makes any sense. But we will go back through these. I have no problem at all because I know a lot of people probably like to have not seen these. Oh, thank you, Holly Berry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. Hey, every mom in this chat right now knows what that what that feels like. It's so funny. It's so crazy. That is so funny. How in the world? That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely go back through these, but let's get back to this one. All right, let's see. Let's see where we were at with this one. Did we read this whole thing already? Yeah, I think we did. Okay. So, here's the questions and the way that they were laid out. And, did you do it again to see what it would do? This is funny. I mean, it's not funny that YouTube ain't got its life together, but it's still funny. It's almost like a big game of chance. Did it really? Tara, that happened to you before? What? If that's true, that's crazy. That's insane. YouTube is crazy. YouTube is wild. Really? So it's done it to you before? That's crazy. That's wild. I have never seen that before in my life. Never, ever, ever. That's crazy. Okay, so let's see what this says. This is all the questions. Have you read, seen, or heard if Bryan Kohberger stalked one of the victims? Anyone who said they had believes in 81% guilt, and 62% that have heard this say that you would not be able to convince them that he's not guilty. Bryan Kohberger said that he was out driving alone on the night of the murders. 79% of the people that did read, see, or hear that believe he's guilty. Bryan Kohberger followed one of the victims on social media. 79%. Okay, right there is my whole point. What number would this be on? Like, what would the numbers be if those questions weren't in there like that? Because we know that it's not true. It's just crazy that they were just allowed to do this for so long. DNA found on the knife sheath was later matched to Bryan Kohberger. 75% that have heard that think he's guilty. University students in Moscow and their parents lived in fear until Bryan Kohberger was arrested for the murders. 74% that have heard that before think he's guilty. Police found a knife sheath on the bed next to one of the victims. 72% of the people that have heard that before think he is guilty. Bryan Kohberger owns the same type of car recorded on video driving in the neighborhood where the killings occurred. 72% of the people that had heard that before believe that he is guilty. It's interesting that the percentage is going down right here. So 55% of the people that had heard that before that also believe he's guilty also believe that he would have like a 45% chance of convincing them otherwise. It's kind of strange. Cell phone tower data show that Bryan Kohberger made several trips near the victims' homes in the months before the killings, and 72% of the people that have heard that before believe that he is guilty. Hey, Chief. My phone does that crap. Yeah. Me too. My kids even know Santa ain't real. They know Mama worked for that. It is. Strange numbers. It is. Okay. Consistent with what often happens in smaller venues, rumors, conjecture, and misinformation have sped through informal discussion and alternate communication networks such as social media. Approximately 88% Latah County survey respondents who recognized the case have talked about the murders or heard others talking about them in person or online. Yeah, what's that percentage of in person or online? Honestly, in the local area, probably equal, but you get out and it's most likely all online, probably. Prospective jurors were also familiar with misinformation reported in the media and tested in the survey. For example, 45% have read, seen, or heard that Bryan Kohberger stalked one of the victims, and 45% were aware that he allegedly followed one of the victims on social media, both things that we know are not true. Earlier in the survey, respondents were asked what rumors or theories they had heard about the about the murders, the defendant, or the victims. Latah County survey respondents reported a litany of rumors and conjecture that have been spread in the coverage, informal discussions, and social media. Examples include. Okay, so are we about to actually get to like the juicier stuff now? Yeah, they showed it. I can actually go find it real quick. So it was at the end of the page. Right here. 400 from Latah, 400 from Ada. I always want to say Ada, so I have to stop myself. Ada County, 200 from Canyon, and 202 from Bannock. And I don't know why 202. I don't know why 202. Okay. Let me see. I gotta get comfortable. And my hair is on my nerves. I need to find my ponytail. So I'm gonna keep this off till I find my ponytail. Y'all gonna be looking at me crazy, looking everywhere on my desk for a ponytail that's probably not even up here. Oh, found one. I can only have my hair down for so long before I just can't deal with it anymore. That's what I'm saying right here. They're about to start talking about us. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Like, let me go ahead and get my hair in a ponytail. We can go ahead and get this started because I feel like this is about to be about us. This will be interesting. Okay. Okay. Let's see what this says. Okay. He may come from a family of crime and previous cases have been uncovered. I heard that about the Goncalveses, not the Kohbergers. So that's interesting. I've heard that Kohberger has been linked to other murders in Washington and Pennsylvania. I've heard they are railroading Kohberger to put him away, and the evidence was planted and he was being framed. One other one that I heard was that he was working with one or the other of the roommates. So this is stuff from the survey people that they asked them like open-ended questions. Like at first it was, I mean, I remember the grand jury that his parents went to. I remember that. Yeah, because this is wild. This is not fair whatsoever. For real, for real. I don't know why they are allowing that. There's got to be something that a court could do about certain things anyway. Books and movies are just so insane. Yeah. And then it went quiet. And that was the only thing that we ever heard. And his mom and dad were brought in on 2 separate days. I remember that. Okay. Some speculation that Kohberger committed a murder in Oregon, possible. The house was a party house, and a couple of people who died weren't supposed to be there, the boyfriend and girlfriend. Also, Kohberger had commented about committing the perfect murder in a paper. Are they talking about the Reddit survey? I think they're talking about the Reddit survey, but that's not at all what he said, unless I missed something. I don't feel like that's what he said. Oh, thank you, Mallory. Very sweet. Thank you, thank you. I just try to make it make a little bit of sense without all the cray-cray. Hey, too much. How long have you been in here? I feel like I recognize your thingy the bobber when it comes in here, and I didn't notice it. Yeah, it really has. Quitting smoking was the best thing I ever did. I smoked menthol cigarettes 2 packs a day since I was like 16 years old. And I have stopped smoking. I don't even vape anymore. I went from smoking like a crazy freight train down to deliciously flavored fruity vapes. And then I went to zero nic vapes that were still delicious, but had no nicotine. And now I don't do it at all. It's a great feeling to like not smoke anymore. Because now I pass by people that smoke cigarettes and I'm like, I can't believe I walked around smelling like that. 20 years. It is hard. It took me a couple years to get it right, but it literally was one of those things where I did it for so long. It was like the OCD of the hand to mouth movement of being bored and having nothing to do. And so it takes a minute. You got to find your groove, bro. You got to find your groove. It is hard. Hey, Lauren. Yeah. I mean, Palax, Palax is a really, really good vape brand. It's never once made my blood pressure spike. It's never made like my cheeks or anything get red from like having weird chemicals or anything in it. And Elf Bar was the one that got me to quit. Palax I found after we moved because my smoke shop down the street didn't carry the ones that I needed. So he was like, well, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. And I've got this new brand coming in and we're going to figure it out. And it came in and they were great. Palax are really, 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 really good. You just have to be careful of the vapes that you get because some of them will literally like make your heart feel like it's pounding out of your chest, and it's supposed to just be like nicotine. I mean, I still would buy like my no nicotine vapes just because I like wanted them every now and then, but then I guess like not needing the nicotine and all the other chemicals, because it's not just like the nicotine in the cigarettes that your body is addicted to, right? Like it's all the other stuff too. There's a lot of chemicals in that boo-boo. Hey, Kimberly. Oh no. That's crazy. Well, I hope that worked out. You seem to still be, doing stuff. So hopefully that you're past that. That's crazy. My mom's ex-husband actually died from like having like a throat type cancer, but he never smoked or dipped or none of that stuff. So it was kind of strange. Yeah, I can imagine that was stressful. For sure. Mhm. Mhm. Smoking Marlboros, bro. If they didn't have if they did not have my Marlboro menthol cigarette that I wanted, I was going to anywhere, including like a QT. For those of you who are like from like souther of the US, Quick Trip is like the most expensive place that you could buy cigarettes, and they were like $12 a pack. You know, it was after I quit. I quit whenever they were still around like $8, $9. But yeah, that was the expense right there. $25, $30 a day. Mm-mm. Love Elf Bar. Elf Bar is the one that got me to actually stop smoking. I mean, honestly, it was probably a THC vape because it was legal. Not where they were, but next door. Like basically it was just like a hop, skip, and a jump, and yeah. It was 7 years ago. What? What country is that? That's cray cray. Oh, you do Discord? I can't figure out Discord. Discord gives me anxiety. I tried it whenever I was trying to learn that Midjourney AI, and it just gave me so much anxiety. I never touched it again. Australia. I was about to say, damn. Well, Susan, it's Australian money. Well, what does that convert to in United States? You know what? I don't even want to know. So it's going to give me a whole nother bit of anxiety. Okay, let's get back to these crazy rumors that they're claiming that us social media peeps are responsible for. Okay, let's see. Okay, that maybe one of the victims had rejected him sexually caused this, and with his criminal justice interest, he wanted to try to commit the perfect murder. The girls were party girls. Bryan was studying criminology, see how much he could get away with. I would love to know why certain things are in like bold print here too. So you're sitting here trying to tell me that a pack of cigarettes is $50 freaking dollars? Bro, for real. That's what I was about to say. Oh, that's freaking wild. That's wild. That's wild. Oh, that's wild. Okay, let's see. Okay. I just heard it was part of his research to commit these murders in a small town because he thought he could get away with it. It was part of his research to commit these murders. That's wild. I've heard a theory that he might have committed the murders to see if he could get away with it, that he planned it out, and that he would keep going if he wasn't caught. He was a law student at WSU, and he looked on the internet for how to do certain things. He was interviewing people for his thesis. See, that's not true either. That's not true either. When he was sitting there getting stuff together for that survey, he was at DeSales. He was at DeSales, and it was a group project. Like, it was multiple people that put it together. And even if that's what drives me crazy, because even though I never did a video about the Reddit stuff. I never did. But even I knew the professor's name was like part of the contact information for the people that did look at the survey. Like it was more than one person. It was more than just Bryan. I think there was like 3 other names on it, and also the professor. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these people, like that's that game of telephone to where like whoever originally saw that information might have been correct, but then as it kept going, it got all screwed up. I do. I do. Hey, mitten kittens. Mitten for kittens. Yeah, they basically just made up a bunch of boo-boo. And it wasn't his thesis either. He wasn't even in his graduate program. His graduate program is where he was at the time when he was arrested. The survey was done at DeSales in another state. See what I mean? It's that game of telephone, which to me is the same thing that Brett Payne did with the way that he got his information. And to me, it's no different at all. Someone said he may have been snubbed at the girls' by the girls at parties. Students that were killed were big partiers, and he had been to parties with them, and that Kohberger bragged about committing a perfect murder and was taking criminal justice classes. Okay. People who they thought was involved, also that the other roommates were involved, but that hasn't been proven. It's just a rumor. Rumors about other suspects. He frequented Mad Greek stalking. You notice for them to constantly keep saying that he frequented Mad Greek, we didn't see them really do like anything in lieu of financial warrants. I mean, honestly, I learned more watching TV about how to get away with crimes than I did whenever I was in school for mine. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's very, very sweet of you. Thank you very much. I wish I could see if it has a little creature. Does it have a creature on it? Because mostly the time the super stickers have creatures, right? I always feel like people are always talking about them, but on this end, it doesn't show me all the cuteness. I very much appreciate it, though. Thank you very much. I just wish StreamYard would show me all the extras. I guess that's why a lot of people have like an additional screen and they have it playing on YouTube on mute, like on the other side. I probably need to do the same thing so I can see all the additional stuff. It is a creature. See, it doesn't show me the creature. I wish it showed me the creature. Yeah, as far as I know, he doesn't know the dude. I mean, I doubt the owner was there like every single day the whole time from open to close, but he doesn't recognize the guy for them saying that it was like a constant. Oh, it's a pear. Oh, those are my favorite. The Anjou pears are my favorite fruit in the world. Good choice. Good choice. But yeah, I just don't like they didn't even pull financials really. So I don't know how they're sitting there saying that. Like if he's not on camera, wouldn't they have to like prove that he purchased food? I don't know. I mean, honestly, if he went to the Mad Greek and that was the only connection that he had to them and he never ever went to their houses and he never even knew their names, that would be a reason for his like phone thingies, but there's no proof that he ever even went there once. No proof at all. Because they have one vegan pizza, bro. It's not a vegan restaurant. That's a great question. I figured that out like a super long time ago because I'm like, okay, let's actually take a look. No, they have like a vegan pizza. Let's see if they even have like the thing up here because a lot of people are just looking at the menu. Yeah, if you look at it, it just shows that it is Greek Mediterranean. And Greeks eat a lot of those gyros, whatever they're called or whatever, and they're like meat. They're like one of my favorite things, even though I don't know how to say it. But they have like one vegan option and it's like a pizza. So I don't know why they call it a vegan restaurant. Like what kind of person are you to go all the way to a whole nother town just for one pizza? Yeah. Yeah. But like I've wondered that for a while. Like, what are y'all talking about? I don't understand. See if I can pull the whole menu up. Let's see. Menu. Oh, that tzatziki, however you call it, sauce is probably my favorite thing on the planet. I don't like hummus though. See this one right here. There's chicken right here. They've got lamb and beef. Chicken, souvlaki, falafels, proteins. Look at all them pepperonis and Canadian bacons. Like this is not a vegan restaurant. They just have like one option for a vegan pizza. I don't even know if it's still on here anymore. They got to create your own. I bet you they took off their vegan pizza because everybody kept being dumb about it because it used to be on here. It used to be on there and it's gone. I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it. And I used to luck out all the time. Like since we moved, our Kroger here sucks. Kroger is my absolute favorite store because I'm a big like woohoo shopper, clearance shopper. Like me and my kids, it's like I did pull up the freaking menu, bro. I pulled up the whole menu. I was wanting to find it. But yeah. So you've had that, so it must be good. Stuffed grape leaves. Stuffed with what? I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand how you could be fired or like let go from a job as like a fish cutter because you suck at what you're doing, but then also be a vegan and then also think this. Like, if you can't handle like meat of an animal, you definitely can't handle doing this to a person. I find it odd. I do. There's a Greek place in town we haven't tried yet, and now I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow just because now I want a gyro or gyro. I don't know how to say it. Spinach puffs? Oh my gosh. Y'all are talking about all kind of stuff that's delicious. Shut up, Twiz. No, that's not what happened. I know. I'm hungry too, bro. Ooh, see, us Cajuns do something called a dirty rice. But they look at me cray-cray. Put it in a grape leaf. Yeah, well, and see, that's another thing that I'm really curious about because it was an aunt that's no longer even married to the family that said that whole thing about him being vegan and not being able to use pots and pans, blah, 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 whatever. But what I'd really like to know is if there was contents in his refrigerator. What was in his shelves? That's what I would like to know. That part. That part. I'm telling you, I'm going to try my Greek place in town tomorrow for the first time. Did you do the cup thing? Where's the 7-Eleven one? Did you do the cup thing where you take like whatever in and get whatchamacallit at 7-Eleven, the Slurpees from 7-Eleven and like anything that you can bring in? Really? I'll probably look into that some more. Like that was stuff from the beginning of him getting arrested that kind of just like it just kept on. It was so hard to like catch up and keep up and dig deep into everything. I remember the whole visual snow thing. I remember reading it, but I mean, damn, it could be possible they're fake. It really wouldn't pronounce it. Euro, like the money. It's pronounced like the money. I've been saying it wrong 30,000 different times. But is that even true? Like, we don't even know if that's true. I mean, it's probably so. I've never heard anything else from her again. Euro. See, I'm just going to go to the place tomorrow and find out myself. You can't teach a Cajun how to speak different languages. It just doesn't work. I know. Can't do bread. That's the one thing I don't think I could give up is bread. I just don't think I could. It's gyro. I'll believe you. You're probably one of the smarter people on the YouTubes. I totally believe you. I do. I just can't believe I've been saying it 25,000 different ways of wrong. Yeah. I mean, everything. And that's why I made a short the other day. And it was like, truthfully, as many questions as I have for Dylan and Bethany. Hey, Chica Banana. Yeah, that's what she's telling me, that I'm not saying it right. You know, people be talking a lot of mad shit about Arby's, but I really kind of like their beef and cheddar with like extra Arby's sauce. Sometimes. Sometimes. Every now and then if I'm super hungry and running errands. But yeah, like we only know what is in, right. We only know what is in the exhibits written from law enforcement. We haven't heard a damn thing from Dylan or Bethany or anyone else, honestly. We only know the interpretation that we're getting from somebody who showed up at the crime scene 4 hours after the 911 call. Yeah, their beef and cheddar is good. So it's just hard. Like, I still am always going to have questions for Dylan and Bethany because to me, their behaviors are odd. This homemade is heaven. Make that homemade. My son's playing Roblox. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to go calm him down. Oh yeah, no, it has to have the extra Arby sauce or I'm not eating it. Oh, I know. Which is what's going to be crazy to me if they end up like giving some boo-boo and like making it to where they don't have to actually cross state line. They don't have to come and testify. Like I know, I got a tickle in my throat. Hold on. Hold on. I'm still trying to get this tickle out my throat, but she wants to say hi. You can talk.
Hi.
That's Ariel. Okay, bye.
Okay, love you.
Okay, love you. Bye. Tequila and crawdads, you're speaking my language.
Crawdads, where are they at?
On the in the chat. That's funny. Man, if they shut the cameras down, I'm gonna be so sad. Because that's not fair. I mean, honestly, as long as the families hear it, I guess. But no, I want to see all of it. I'm gonna be really mad if they do that, for real. No, I think they're gonna be there. I just don't know if they're gonna like let them do something virtually. Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming it every day. Like I'm gonna work. I can't take 6 weeks off work, 6 to 8 weeks off work, but I'm gonna be listening in while I'm working and streaming it on the channel. So I'll be in chat like we've been doing. I mean, I might take a couple of days off, maybe like one day a week, and just have to tell my boss, hey, I got some important stuff to do. I need like a day off every week for forever. I've got PTO. Let me damn well use it. There was a few other ones. Larkin, Vargas. There was a Stephen Mercer and one more person, and I can't remember. Hold on. So yeah, the text messages are going to be interesting. And you know it's crazy? Melissa Jade and a guy I've never seen before. I've never actually seen him before on her channel, but she pulled up the Gypsy Rose and Nick Godejohn messages, and they were, oh boy, I knew that it was cray cray, but listening to him read out loud, she's braver than me coming on the camera and saying the things that those text messages were saying. These text messages right here are going to be interesting because we've literally heard. And I'm going to say literally heard. I really am. In Boise, Idaho? I don't know. Honestly, I have no clue. As far as I was under the assumption, they were both kind of like out of the country. I'm not really quite sure. Oh, yeah, no, we're crawfish people in this house. For sure. Even my 6-year-old's starting to eat like crab and shrimp and stuff like that. It's so funny watching his little fingers try to like peel stuff. Yeah, it's the best thing ever. You're going to have to. You're going to have to. Because the second that the lives end, they go away. So unless you're streaming it on your channel or recording it as it's going live. Yeah. If they got the right guy, then why are they so quiet? That's my point. If they've got, yeah, it was gross. It was the way that she talks, bro. Ugh. If they got the right dude, then why aren't you doing more? Like, I get the gag order, right? Like, I get it. And I get, like, maybe I could be completely wrong and they're just really stupid and don't deserve to be called adults because they don't know how to handle adult things. Okay. I don't know. And I know that any lawyer would say don't talk. I understand that. But what about before the lawyers? And if you're so innocent and you really are just like a victim here, like they want us to think, what you need a fucking lawyer for, bro? Okay. What you need a lawyer for? What did you do wrong to where you think you need a lawyer? What do you need to be represented and protected for if you literally are just somebody who happened to be in the same house? That's what I've never understood. Ray knows a lot. Ray knows a lot. A lot. Yeah. And it wasn't just that. She put her freaking hand on his shoulder, stood up, and said that she wholeheartedly believed he was innocent. Hey, little T. I would love to know if that was fact. I would really like to know if that was true. Hold on one second. No, your sound is fine. My 6-year-old was coming in here to tell me about the ultimate combo he wants me to make him because he's finished with his burritos. Yeah, no, I was talking to my kid. But yeah, I would like to know if that whole like did you arrest anybody else or whatever, if that's true or not, because Brian Inton was the only person to say that. And then whenever he went to I guess validate it with the police, they couldn't validate it. Like they refused to answer. Yeah, he wants his ultimate combo. That's what he calls whenever he wants like a little variety. But he's got to eat his dinner, and he did, so that's why he was telling me. Yeah, I don't think he did either. I feel like that's a strange thing to say. Especially since the way that they kind of described it was that he was so ready to get back and be exonerated. And then saying, did somebody else also get arrested? It almost kind of like implicates yourself, right? Right. Yeah. The Pennsylvania attorney was like, he was like dumbfounded, didn't know what the hell was going on. He was kind of shocked he was getting arrested and he couldn't wait to get back to be exonerated. And so him saying anybody else, that's kind of like implication and the opposite of the other stuff. I mean, it's not really like incriminating Twiz, but it's kind of like the opposite to me in my brain. I want to be exonerated, but did you arrest anybody else? Bacon and egg rolls? Why am I envisioning that in my head a certain way? That's probably not the right way. Because I'm talking like actual egg rolls stuffed with bacon and egg. I remember that, Heather, from the very beginning. I think before he was even extradited. The attorney said that, didn't he? Man. Maybe we should go back and look at some stuff. Maybe we should go back and go look at some original stuff because I remember that. That's true. I mean, I can imagine that being true anyway. I doubt that they let him like sit there and read it. GPS, that's what he said. That is what he said. Yeah, and not just that, but going back. Yeah, I want to. But going back, knowing what we know now, it'd literally be just like nothing but debunking. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's read through a couple more of these. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, we got sidetracked and started talking about food because I looked up the Mad Greek menu. My bad, guys. I just realized what happened. That's my fault. That is my fault. I take all of the responsibility. Okay. Let's see. That there could have been another person. I heard that Kohberger had an obsession, multiple people involved, may have been connected with ritual killings of an animal, which again, the fact that like the whole buddy situation was just like no one ever talked about it again over there is kind of sad because how do you have that much psycho stuff going on? The buddy situation, the guy in all black with a knife from like the same exact time of the murders, basically. How do you just have all this cray cray going on and it's not all the same cray cray person? I don't understand that, like literally at all. Speculations that the roommates are involved. Surprised the police did not do more investigations. I think frat boys may have been involved. So there's some survey takers that think the frat boys were involved. That's crazy. News on the street. It was a really gruesome murder and vicious. Who says that? I don't know who they were talking to. Also heard by some people I know in jail that they might, that have told me they have seen interaction with police and Kohberger while in jail and says that police have seemed to be friendly to butter up with Kohberger to try to get him to talk. Police here are doing an excellent job here and on this case. I actually kind of believe that they're trying to be like buddy buddy with him. Tell me something, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bro, it does. I want some truth to that situation. 'Cause that's crazy. That's super crazy. Right, but they going through there. They go in and out of there. All kinds of, like, officials go in and out of there, so there's really no telling. Oh, yeah. I remember that dude. Nope. Not a word. Which is why I think his family is not talking either. I think that oh, I mean, basically there's a couple that found their dog skinned. And the rumor going around was that they thought that it was Bryan, um, because it's crazy and because he got, arrested around the time of all this crazy stuff and the buddy situation. Because you can't have an animal skinning psychopath and this situation and somebody who's like carrying a knife in all black running around on bike trails threatening people all at the same time. And it's like, yeah, but how do we know that, Twiz? As I've never heard anything from her other than the fact that she refuses to speak. But even regardless of all of that, I feel like if he's choosing to stay silent, that's why they're staying silent. I think that as much as people want to act as if maybe they knew something was wrong with him or whatever kind of crazy stuff, if they really felt like Bryan was guilty, don't you think they'd be out here talking? That right there. Don't you think that his sisters would have been out there by now being like, no, nothing that you're talking about me is true because of y'all's bullshit. We lost our jobs. Like you'd think they'd be out here. And they're not. And I think it's because they respect what Bryan is saying and that they believe him, and that's why they're staying silent. Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with anything either, Aunt. Um JLR, I think. He has the full audio. And I don't like JLR. Just don't. But he has the full audio. Somebody told him that some audio recorder was thrown in a dumpster behind a Staples or an Office Depot or some weird shit like that. And whenever he went and he got the voice recorder, it was an interview between an actual journalist, I think for the Daily Times. I could be wrong. New York Times. It was somebody that actually like is a journalist for a for real place. And somehow or another, this this audio recorder got back there, and it's people from the trailer park being interviewed, and it's like the wrong time frame. The timing doesn't add up to what they're claiming. Like the timing of their story and the timing of the murders they don't add up. They're not the same. Well, the roommates' phones is where they're getting their timeline from. Forensic downloads of the roommates' phones, which is why it's crazy to me that they're telling us that the murders stopped at 4:25 per the roommates' phones, but then they want us to believe that the suspect's vehicle left 5 minutes before that at 4:20. And people might think that 5 minutes isn't a big deal, but whenever they're giving us Xana's TikTok was active at 4:12 and they didn't pick up Murphy barking until 4:17 and the car sped away at 4:20, 5 minutes is a big deal. Oh, yeah, Chief. Yeah, I heard about that a while back. JLR has the video. I talked about it, but he's got the actual audio of the interview between these people. It was like her dude came home from work. Like it was she went from it being like super early in the morning into it being like around like a lunchtime situation, and her timing and stuff just didn't add up right. Well, the Goncalveses think that that's a possibility and that it's true because they're the ones who have been coming out here stating it. But I've also heard some back stuff that I can't really like validate, so I've just kind of kept it to myself. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know. I've heard that stuff before. I'm just not too sure. I don't like him. I don't at all. Everyone knows that. I give him credit where credit's due, but I don't. But it's not his voice. If you can find the video and just fast forward through him ranting on about how he found this freaking voice recorder, then you just listen to the interview between the other journalist guy and the two females that talk about the red car. He's very slippery. His background is slippery than Schlitterbahn. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We were told he sliced and diced them and hung them from the... So somebody in the local area got a hold of 4chan. I know my throat went all crazy. That's because I had like nasty in my throat. I just didn't want to be like all over the microphone. So I just tried to hide it. But somebody got a hold of 4chan because that's where that came from. Didn't know why he did it. There were some rumors that he stalked the girls, but can't say that's for sure. The rumor that he was an ex of one of the female victims, and I heard he had Tourette's. Where the hell did that come from? That dude is still out here on these YouTube streets. Rolo Mata is another one of those that needs to stop. He's out of his freaking mind. Wild. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. And he like really like recently, bro, this shit was like a year ago. It's crazy. They said Bryan had Tourette's. That they heard the rumor was that Bryan had Tourette's. Never heard that before. He fit the description and was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He tried to leave the country. Oh my God, that was Showalter. That was the rumor with Showalter. So see, these people are getting all of these things mixed up. That's why this stuff is dangerous. And I'm guilty of entertaining everything that comes our way. But when it comes to Jack Showalter, the whole leaving the country thing, a whole bunch of this other crazy stuff, like I just didn't. I didn't see a reason to. Until I have an actual reason, I'm not driving myself cray-cray. Not gonna lie. Like I can laugh because my daughter has Tourette's on top of whatever else is wrong with her, right? And it's interesting. So we get worried sometimes because she'll do like certain things and I'm like, you're going to choke. Like you're eating and doing these things. So I couldn't imagine Bryan having the type of Tourette's my daughter does and walking through a 3-story house in the middle of the night and then suddenly having to make a bird noise. I just don't feel like that would go over really well. I just don't feel like that would work at all. That's just absolutely wild. I have issues with interview room, dude. He talks to the Goncalveses all the time, and I don't feel like he's very honest. Yeah, I know he never did. I don't know why people thought he went to Africa. Because there was like never any proof of that at all. Yeah, she does this thing sometimes where her neck kind of turns and she makes this like, it actually sounds really real. I don't know how she manages to do it because she can't do it without it just happening. She's tried to like fake the noise. It doesn't work. I don't either. I like the work his wife did about all of the financials when it comes to this bullshit. I love the work that she did. I don't like him very much. But see, this is one of those dangerous rumors that where no, sir, you don't. No, you do not. And if Jay Embry told you that, then no, you sure the hell do not. This is dangerous rhetoric that no one has any freaking proof of whatsoever. Because let me tell you something. This kind of stuff isn't documented where you can go and find the proof. Drug deals and stuff like this are done in the shadows. They're not done where you can go back and find the proof like this. So I don't understand why this kind of dangerous stuff with all these very specific details. All you did was pull a WSU Kim and intertwine every theory that you've ever heard in your entire life, sir. And I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. I'm just blunt and honest. And that's what you did. You put together literally every person who's ever been questioned about this and put all the theories together for literally no reason with no actual evidence at all. That's dangerous rhetoric. That's no better than what Kim does. I know. No, you don't. Definitely bought it. No. He was addicted. No. Come on. Oh, so okay. That's why he went on late night drives. So my 70-year-old Vietnam vet, my dad, who can't sleep at night because he's old and has nothing to do, he drove on late night drives because he's a coke dealer? Because that's like the rhetoric. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And where did you get that from? From that one post that apparently came from a sister that was posted anonymously talking about how he was doing something with somebody? No. Yeah, that's Willie. He knew him from grade school. Yeah. Yeah, could you imagine? Like, okay, I only know about right. I only know about like how you're supposed to cut it and stuff by like watching TV. Okay, I don't know none of this thing. I was not this kid. I drank Smirnoff Ice and smoked cigarettes in high school. That's about the most my parents had to worry about. All right. I don't know anything about this stuff. But I can imagine from what I've seen on TV, you'd have to be like some sort of guerrilla mercenary out in the bush, living off the land, carrying a bazooka to tell me you're going to cut coke with a K-bar. No, that doesn't even make sense. No, just too much. Too much. Just too much. Is it? Wouldn't be surprised. You know, since the state's having such a hard time putting any connections together. I mean, that sounds more right than what it actually is, right? It sounds like it should be a freaking candy bar. Yeah, like some of this stuff is just wild. Okay, but you're ridiculous. Is this Rolo Mata under a different name? That's really what I want to know. No, you're out of your mind. Show me receipts, Steven. Show me receipts that are not links to somebody else's YouTube video. Show me proof that's not a link to some Reddit account or some post somewhere. You can't. You can't. You better be careful how you word stuff out in this real world out here. Telephone. Yeah, exactly. Telephone and stir in the pot, where you just put all of them together, you stir it up, and then you just reach in and slap down whatever puts together. I know not. On my channel? YouTube should know better. That's cool. That's fine that you're like a reformed Coke person. That's cool. But that doesn't mean shit about the people that you just talked about. Because for all we know, those people don't even know each other. I mean, we know about Emma and Demetrius and how ridiculous their stupid ass life is. But that doesn't mean anything for the rest of them. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not. Definitely reformed. Are you? Okay, good. Good. I'm glad that I was right. Yeah, they have to be. Like, come on now. Like, come on now. I know damn well that I use the exact same email for my Twitter account as I do my YouTube account, and I know that they talk back and forth to each other, so they should know. They should know. Because he doesn't. As well, that's another rumor we don't really know. But that's the rumor that was going around about why Bryan and his professor were actually arguing and why a lot of the students actually didn't like him. It was the LGBTQ community, and Bryan apparently had issues with all of the flags everywhere on the doors and all over the place. He apparently had issues with it, and he was not he didn't have a problem with talking about him having issues with it, and that's the rumor. That's the rumor of why they actually would like get into a fight and why people were saying that he was like getting in trouble. That's the rumor. We don't know if that's true. I know. And why are you getting a Biden commercial? He's not even running. YouTube's behind. That's crazy. Yeah, I really believe none of it either. I don't believe none of it either. But could you imagine if the professor that he was arguing with was a female? It would be a million times worse. A million times worse. Did they have DEI stuff back whenever Bryan was arrested? I feel like that's more recent. That's like the second half of the Biden administration. The very beginning of it was the pandemic boo-boo, and then we had all the DEI stuff after that. You know, where airplane parts started falling off of airplanes and shit. It's just wild. I mean, I haven't either, Tonka. I haven't either. But then again, like, we haven't seen any of his actual social media. We haven't talked to anybody that actually, like, knows him. So we really just don't know. Like, everyone that knows him is being quiet, and I really think it's because he asked them, "Hey, don't talk. I'm standing silent. We're doing this all the way through." The quiet game. It's not the long game, it's the quiet game. So, yeah. It's just crazy. Well, there's a difference, too. Even drag queens are tired of all this crazy bullshit. So that's what that is. I mean, I have my own takes on that stuff. Like, I'm fine with people being, like, normal ass people, like, shit. I mean, homosexuality is in the animal kingdom. I tell people that all the time. I mean, you will find animals in the kingdom of animals that are homosexual. That's kind of like that's, like, not even the problem. The problem is whenever we have people like, Ava Chris Tyson on Mr. Beast. Y'all don't know about any of that cray-cray stuff, you should probably go take a look. Tunnel Guy? Rory? That's funny, he got mentioned earlier in, Dietz's channel. I don't know, he went away for a little while. I don't know why he went away for a little while. There was rumors about why he went away, I have no clue. And then he, like, popped back up. Oh, is Little T leaving? Bye, Little T. And, he has done, like, I've noticed 2 videos since he went away, but I don't know if he's back. Study losers. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's another thing too, though. The people that were talking about the way that he graded, like, it wasn't like he was being sexist. It wasn't at all like he was being sexist. He was grading harsh on everybody. Bye. Have a good night. Bye. Oh, Rory's been over there on Tommy's. Well, we know that they're buddies. A tally. I saw somebody else mention something about a tally. I don't know anything about a tally. I have no idea about a tally. What does that mean? Herself keeping the tally? A tally about what? Oh, the people that actually knew him? Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, Willie is the only one out here on social media talking about knowing Bryan, but again, it's been forever. It's been well over 10 years since he knew him. I really wish we had some like more recent people, but then again, he probably really did ask people just to not. Okay, let's see how many more we can get through before I get distracted all over again, because that Tourette's one really threw me off. He fit the description and was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He tried to leave the country. Oh yeah, that's another one that threw me off. Okay, because that's ridiculous. I heard that it was 2 other people, but they found his DNA at the scene. I've heard that the defense isn't sure who it is, or maybe the roommates are involved, or there may be one other person. He had someone else in the car with him. See, that's something that I still want to freaking get answers to, because I'm not going to let go of the fact that she fries stuff. And we went through it yesterday. Even the actual press release states more than one person. We want to speak to the occupants of the vehicle. Occupants. More than uno. So their cameras are good enough to be able to tell in the middle of the night through probably semi-tinted windows that there's more than one vehicle in the car, but they can't make out a plate. I don't still make no sense. Makes no sense. Let's see. He killed the people and there was someone else helping him. His roommate said Kohberger was acting strange around the time of the murders. He didn't have a roommate. The second room in that apartment was locked because it belonged to the university, but he did not have a roommate. Interruptions from BK? Like, you mean like him like being in class and the professor teaching something and then he like interrupts? And how many of them look exactly the same? Different makes and models look exactly the same in the middle of the night. Yeah. He didn't have a freaking roommate. He is guilty. He did it, and the evidence was found at the crime scene. He knew one of the people in there. Just in there. He tried to connect with one woman. He was aware of where the girls were at all time, been in and around the house a couple of times. Rumors that there was a second person responsible, and rumors of following the girls online, and lots of parties at the house because it's a university town. He was obsessed with one of the girls at the house. I heard that Bryan tried to hit on one of the girls at the restaurant. Bryan Kohberger said, am I the only one getting arrested when the cop picked him up? So that's one of those things. Again, we just talked about that Brian Inton is the only one that said that, and then he couldn't validate it. He was stalking one of the victims. He was delusional about being in a relationship with one of the girls. So now they're trying to say that he had like a whole imaginary relationship with one of them. That's a whole nother level. Well, pretty sure that he did it. Pretty sure he was stalking them, checking the places he went. One of the girls had spurred his romantic advances. He went in the house and killed 3 girls and 1 gentleman. He was dating one of the girls and she stopped seeing him. He came back and killed them all. I'm almost wondering if I'm gonna have to go back in and like edit this after the live like processes on YouTube and like silence out some of these words, because they really got me saying a lot of stuff that YouTube don't like. Have I seen Psycho? Are you talking about Psycho? Is that the same one as regular Psycho? I never liked those movies. I never understood the cult fascination. Honestly. Yeah. Like, like where the hell they get some of this crap? I mean, I don't think he could have done it and fought off Ethan. Especially if they really were home at midnight, the way that Xana's father has told people. Now, the pizza stuff has never come out of his mouth. We went back through the interviews, and they were originally from an Arizona station, and that's whenever he first mentioned that he had gotten a call from Xana. Did he get a call or did he call Xana? I can't remember which one it was. I think he called her because him and his chick were about to go out for the night, and he ended up calling her, and it was around midnight, and her and Ethan were already home. And if that's the truth, and they didn't drink or do anything else after they got home because they were just home watching movies, I don't care how much he was drinking at the party. 4 hours later, yo ass is pretty sober. So I just don't see how he could have possibly. That's what I said. I said, y'all act like they don't hear what we talking about, but they know what we're talking about. I'm not stupid at all. They got teams of people over on the feds and at the local level, literally programs that are programmed to pick up keywords and alert them whenever something gets posted on any platform. We are living in the technological age. Hell yeah, they know what we're talking about. They know exactly what we're talking about. Let's see where we were. Okay. We're pretty sure he did it. Pretty sure he was stalking them, checking the places they went. Not true. One of the girls had spurred his romantic advances. He went in the house and killed 3 girls and 1 gentleman. He was dating one of the girls. I think I read that one already. Him sleeping or being obsessed with one of the girls and him stalking them. His relationship with the victims, attracted to one. I've heard something along the lines he had a personal grudge against them, but don't know if it's true. I heard he was stalking 2 of the victims. Also heard he went back to the house after the murders were committed. I also heard the roommates were in on it. He was a teacher assistant at WSU, and he had issues with women there. One of the restaurants where he ate, it was one where one of the girls worked at. I swear. See, it's just a whole bunch of all the different stories ever told throughout forever, just put all together. Crazy. Just crazy. Okay. I've heard that he had a bad history with women, and everyone is thinking that has something to do with why he did what he did. He worked in the same building with me. I didn't know him, but a friend did and said he was strange and would just stare at you. I want to know who this person is. I want to know who this person is because this is something that we heard before. There was a story that came out a while back, and the girl apparently had said that he had a crush on her back in I think middle school, something like that, whenever he was still kind of chunky. And he would stare at her all the time, but he also had a crush on her. Well, he's an abusive psychopath. So that would be the one time I would actually kind of hope that Bryan is the guy. And people can take that how they want to. Because, yeah. Let's see. Organized crime. It is the Matrix telling on itself. I believe I believe the cleanup for sure. Hey, Lorena. I love Dexter too. Me and my daughter are in the middle of watching that right now. I'm still trying to figure out whether I think they might have something to do with the actual turn of events. I'm really not quite sure. I just have a lot of questions about that 8-hour delay because I feel like they can be. I feel like it could be both. And I'll say this too. Ain't nobody with the credentials of Bryan Kohberger going to want anything to do with somebody like JB Gunna. And he can come at me all he wants to. But that's the truth. Bryan would never with a 10-foot pole, like Miss Gypsy says. Yeah, they're not proving their story. They're not proving their story. Oh, I've watched all of it already. I've watched it all already. I know how it ends. What? You deleted a message? Where? I guess it doesn't tell me whenever people delete stuff. That's a good question. That's a good question if it's true, because we do know that we have like a screenshot of him grading a paper, I believe on December the 16th, after he's already in Pennsylvania. I originally thought it was after Christmas. I was wrong. I thought it was the 26th, but it says like the 16th or the 18th. But then again, we don't even know if the harsh grading from before is even true or not, because that's another thing I've always said. Like, if this was like somebody who won the lottery or someone who saved a freaking baby from a fiery building, would y'all be talking like this about him, or would your stories be different? You know what I mean? Same way with these like surveys. Like, if the prosecution wouldn't have allowed these two false statements to literally penetrate everybody's freaking psyche for the past 18 months, what would the percentages be like? You just never know. There's a lot of different parallels, different things that could have happened here. And none of the things that they're telling us makes any sense. Literally. At all. I would, though, because we do everything here. We're right down the middle trying to find out the truth. All right. What I want to know is about that bar. You know the bar I'm talking about? They said that there was a bar he used to go to. I think it was back in Pennsylvania. And they had like, yeah, see, I think that might be what it was too, because he was trying to appease his professor. That one. Yep. That's the bar name, right? That sounds really familiar. That's the one I want to look into because of everything they said from it. And that's really like the only thing that they've kind of said that kind of gives me pause if it's true. And if they really do have like multiple people believing that he really was the guy that was there, and they really did have to take like a copy of his ID just to like make sure they could ward people off or whatever, then that's definitely something that I would love to look into, because that's creepy ass behavior. But that literally would be like the only thing that I've heard so far that even gives me like a little bit of pause. Even a little. Even a little. It wouldn't be whenever he knew Willie. It wouldn't. Willie only knew him in middle school, high school, something like that. He was a blood spatter guy. Well, and see, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because the one girl, the birthing hip chick, she's really like the only one that's really had something bad to say. Even the females that he knew back in like high school, before and after he lost a bunch of weight and got clean and stuff like that, like even afterwards, like the girl was talking and she was just like, I saw him and he had lost a bunch of weight and he was in school and he was doing really good and I was proud of him. So this just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Birthing hips, yeah. Yeah, and see, that's what I figured it. Ooh, I don't know if y'all could hear whenever I hit that stupid thing. No, she wasn't a girlfriend. She was just literally someone that he knew that was a friend. Yeah. Well, she wouldn't know any truth to that. Literally at all. She's guessing. That's nowhere to be proven. No, I know that. I know that it wouldn't be allowed in at trial, but it's still something to consider for behavior. Because you just never know. We don't know. I don't believe that he did it. I don't believe that he did it. They're not proving their case. But I still want to look at all the stuff. It doesn't need to be allowed at trial for it to be important enough to look at. But behavioral patterns matter. And I promise you, as much as you think it's irrelevant, the United States is shady. They're going to bring up the fact he used to be on H, even though it was 15 years ago, right? 13 years ago, 12 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's happening every single day. Of course they would. especially if they live in a college town and they're almost a 30-year-old idiot who can't get a mature woman. Of course they're going to go after a 19, 21-year-old. Well, and see, and that's why I want to look into it, because I know a lot of people are really like sticking to like this is a thing. But if it was like he went in there twice over X amount of time and just got a little bit too drunk and was dumb, then that's really not a big deal. He not only got over addiction, but also like lost a crap ton of weight. But you know, something else is like super curious to me. I don't know anyone who just jumps headfirst into a needle. Okay. So it's always bothered me that as a teenager, that's what happened. Like as a teenager, before he was even a full grown adult, something was so messed up for him that he decided to go that route first. Like that's a hard beginning for real. But he definitely like did a whole 180 all the way to the fact that he is in this career path. And that's definitely something to like give accolades for. That's why I don't understand why you would work so hard. That's another one of the reasons. Like, not only is there a bunch of rookie ass mistakes that don't even make sense. I know. That's usually the where you end. That's usually the end point. Yeah, they usually build up to that. Well, it's not just a bartender, it's like the owner. It's like the owner of the bar. Like a man that's the owner and a couple of the different waitresses. Oh. Well, Nancy Grace should probably shut up about bar stories, because I actually know somebody who used to own a bar that Nancy Grace used to frequent sometimes, and I've been told some things. She probably should just keep bar stories out of her face. Well, that's true too. You can be a big old creepy creep. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Jar rar. I want to make a shirt that has like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say now, if you see this anywhere out there, they stole my damn idea. I want to make like a T-Rex shirt with a Nancy Grace wig, and it's saying jar rar, but like rar rar, you know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah, really. There was a case she was in this certain town for covering, and yeah, he's told me some stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think I'm gonna make a Nancy Grace jar rar shirt and see what she says, because you know, for those of you who don't know, I wear the blocked badge of honor. Nancy Grace has me blocked on Twitter, but Joe Scott Morgan from Body Bags follows me, so it's kind of funny. See, thank you. You don't study all this crazy stuff for all this time, and done all these crazy things to improve your life, and then make the biggest mistake ever the second that you walk out of your house. I feel like if you really were Bryan Kohberger and you were really like this smart and have tried this hard to learn this much, to the point to where you're like considered the creme de la creme of students for this program, how do you leave your apartment with your phone on, turn it off after the fact, and not instantly say, tonight's not the night, I don't already screwed up, we've got to start over and do this a different day? The Corner Club has you blocked? Jennifer Coffindaffer too, she's got me blocked. That's actually a good question. Was it not police or was it media? Oh, I talk shit about Nancy all the time. That's why she's blocked me. Oh, it's apparently a great sight to see. Her eyes. She's always looks like she's high. She always looks like she has been smoking it up right before the camera turns on. I ain't never seen the whites of her eyes actually white. That's another thing. How much like money has he spent just to do this cray cray shit? Like, come on. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care how much my kid wanted me to be silent. If I thought that he was guilty of some dumb shit, I would have gotten my ass on a plane from Pennsylvania to Moscow, Idaho, gone and into the jail for a visit and slapped him across his whole face for embarrassing me like that. Just saying. Oh, I ran my mouth so much. And honestly, as much as I don't like her, she's a lot better whenever she's by herself and not getting paid to like spin a tale. Well, I appreciate that. I hope so, because she's absolutely out of her mind. Have you seen the way she talks to him? I can't believe that she even gets like guests. Like, I know I can be a bee quite a lot, but she is mean. She is mean. She is rude. Like the second that you're not agreeing with her, she even did it to Howard Bloom. I actually kind of want to go back and clip that because it was really interesting. Like he didn't agree with something that she said, and instantly, like she didn't want nothing to do with him. And I was like, oh, he'll never be back on the show ever again. He just signed his warrant. He's never gonna be back. Sitting at that table. For real. Yeah. She put a whole table out there. I know that's what I don't understand either, Canada. I feel bad for her hubby. Because she talked about that ex all the time. And I know it's sad and tragic, but I mean, ma'am, you done remarried and moved on and had children. You probably should stop talking about your ex so much. Cray cray. Okay. Let's see what else rhetoric and crazy rumor this has to say. Okay, because so far this has been hysterical. I mean, it's sad because this is reality, but it has been hysterical. Okay. I think he hates women. He doesn't respect women at all. Kind of obvious from the way he's treated his professors and the people he works with, his fellow grad students. The other university he was working at, they had problems with him too. I don't know why he picked those victims. He just stalked one girl. She just kind of ignored him and didn't engage in their communication. And he was trying to communicate with her and she didn't respond. So he stalked her. That's what the videotapes are showing. And the pings on the cell phone. His social media, a lot of people on Reddit found disturbing posts from years back. There it is. Or what does she call it? What does she say? Um, it's not high noon or high tea at whatever castle. I can't even like repeat what she says. I don't even know. She's crazy shit. And then she shuts you down. Crazy. Crazy. Oh yeah, she was. Oh yeah, she was. There's nothing that you can ever say to her. Dave's bread. I think I know what that is. Does it have the guy on it with the weird black ponytail? He's making like a holding the bread. I think that's it. I don't even eat that bread. It's definitely your ads. I don't eat that bread. I mean, and his Professor Roslyn, I can't pronounce her name. Roslyn, whatever. She recommended him for stuff. Yeah, high tea at Windsor Castle. I like 12 grain bread. HEB used to have a really good 12 grain bread. I haven't had it in a while. I might have to try it. And all the pictures we've seen of him are like in rooms full of women also, which is strange. I don't want to. They didn't go to the same school. WSU is where he worked. Maddie and all the rest of them went to school at U of I. I mean, that's possible too. A lot of people, like, especially guys, they just don't get in relationships at all for forever. If they are, because they just don't want to come out for some reason or another. And a lot of the time they do, the ones that are kind of like holding it back because they're scared to come forward, they also act homophobic because they're trying to like use a shield, you know? But you never know. You honestly don't know. Never, ever, ever know. Yeah, that's another crazy ass thing. Like, not only did you walk out of your apartment and not turn off your phone or leave your phone active in your apartment to where it looked like you were home, but then you did it with a whole bunch of cops everywhere. I mean, I am too, but how many people that actually like know all of this cray stuff actually go back and look at the documents, right? Ramslin. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, the school that his parents worked at? He worked at the school with his parents? I thought he went to a different training thing. I'll have to look back into that. See? Yeah. I mean, you don't know. You never know. Okay. Yeah, this one right here. Whoever this person was has been listening to a bunch of rumors because damn if that is not like a lot of it all together. Dang. The drive-by stalking, he had a temper and stopped them. He was studying criminal law. He had a temper and stopped them. That's a weird phrase. Somehow he was shunned by them. There are different things from his past, his behaviors before he came here. He attended school in criminal justice. That's what he was studying at Washington State University. He lives back in Pennsylvania. Girls that grew up with him stalked, don't know if that's the right word. He didn't have healthy relationships with women. We don't know anything about any of his relationships, literally at all. Maybe a second person involved. One of the girls complained about being stalked, but no action was taken. Well, because it wasn't true. One story that I heard before he was apprehended, that these women had a business going on the internet that was sexual in nature and that one of their clients was displeased with them. Yeah, the OF rumor. I have that listed right here. I'm about to show you. Like, I'm not even kidding. I actually have it like ready for me to listen to and do a review on it right here. You talking about this one right here? In Class with Kohberger. I haven't decided whether I want to like play it and listen to it together with you guys or if I just want to listen to it and like give y'all a rundown. I don't know how long it is. What's it say? Oh, it's only 30 minutes. We shall see. I am going to start like looking on other platforms because I really try not to listen to a bunch of people's other opinions because I don't like my opinion being tainted. It needs to be pure to the fact. But I do think I'm going to start looking at other platforms too. I didn't even think about looking at iHeart until a few weeks ago. I mean, I've listened to stuff on iHeart, but it's been like stuff for Delphi that I've gone to iHeart for. So I'm going to listen to that. And I guess I'll do a poll and see. I guess I should probably learn like what their content stuff is like. It is. It's okay. Okay. So then I'll probably just like listen to it, maybe clip just the small part. Okay. One story that I heard before he was apprehended. Okay, yeah, that's the OF thing. Maybe he didn't want one of the girls leaving town. Heard lots of rumors. I heard numerous things. Too intense for me to repeat. Too many rumors to answer this question. Well, That's probably the most honest and best way that could have possibly been answered. Too many rumors to answer this question. Mostly really crazy stuff, but other than that, not a whole lot. You just gave me an entire hypocritical statement. Okay. I've read and seen a ridiculous amount of false information on TV and online. I'm a student. I've heard a lot. Don't know what to believe. There's a lot of discussion about his psychological makeup, a master's and working on a PhD in criminology. That's a fact. The rumor is he's going to write a book about it, and the reason is to write a book. Okay, but if you actually commit the crime and then get found guilty and then you write a book, you can't make money off of it. He gets love letters from women in prison. That's a rumor. No, that's actually true. And he's not in prison, though. He's in jail, but that's true. What the defense attorney wants is to make sure he doesn't get executed. That's a rumor. There are tons of rumors in this town, knee-deep in rumors. The worst rumor is that the murders were engineered by a woman. A psychic in Texas accused her of murder. We're going to talk about Cray Cray Lady. The woman being sued, and there's court facts about it. The rumor is the history professor did this at the University of Idaho. They actually mentioned Rebecca Schofield in this already. I've heard rumors that the roommates might be or could be involved in about Kohberger's past in history. I have heard that the girl that he really liked, that he had stabbed her the most and the worst. That's the biggest thing I've heard. There are so many little things. That would be Kaylee they're talking about. Heard rumors about drug cartels, not cartels, drug deals, or that he stalked the victims. Heard that it was possibly a drug case. There was a drug deal gone bad. I've heard all kinds of things, from drug deals gone bad or to his being so smart that he thought he could get away with murder. Everyone in the whole country has heard it. I feel like I remember it was a home that had a lot of weekend and night parties, and that he potentially had been there once or twice at their home. I guess I don't pay much attention to that. One that really bothered me was the roommates that were not killed, Dylan and Bethany. Why is Dylan not spelled correctly? This is not something that was written down by another party. This is something that was taken over the phone. So why in the hell is Dylan's name spelled wrong? I don't understand. That there were talking during the murder that they, the two surviving roommates, were involved somehow. There were drugs. It was disturbing. There's nothing in the information released that alludes to them having any involvement in the crimes, that the police department was corrupt in the prosecutor's office, some conspiracy about cover-up. It's silly and stupid. I don't believe it. I do. I grew up in a town where that's nothing but corruption. There have been rumors about the university and cops being involved. I heard it was a party house and it had a lot of people coming and going. I was aware of the victims. I had met two of them and they were scared of him. Y'all see this, right? There's no connection between him and the victims. And this person is out here saying stuff like this. How many other people has this random so-called random survey taker told this bullshit to? Oh, but it's not just some survey company. Like this is like a legit, they only do court stuff company. That's why I'm surprised. I want to know who this is. This is the second time that they've paused me and I'm like, who is you? Because now I want to know. Now I want to know. That's wild to say what this person just said. Where to go? I was aware of the victims. I had met two of them and they were scared of him. Why would they? I would love to know who this person is. I would just love to know because that's crazy. We are spending millions of dollars to defend him, and it's a waste of tax dollars. No connection. And you can't say I was aware of the victims and that you met two of them and they were scared of him, because if you were just some rando person that they barely ever met, why the hell would they tell you who and what they were scared of? That's absolutely stupid. That's just wild. Okay. Speculation is that he drove over there and left his phone. He drove over there and left his phone. Does that mean he drove over to the house and left his phone at the house? Murdered the people, drove away, left, and went back in the morning remembering he forgot the sheath. He didn't leave his phone. He had his phone whenever he left his apartment, and then he didn't go that way. He went west. He didn't go east. Now, the whole thing of them saying that he went back the next morning, that's one of those things. That is one of those things. That's one of them things that I would love to know more about. Just saying. Just wild, though. This stuff is crazy. Some of this stuff I ain't never heard before. That he might have thrown the knife in the river. I've heard Snake River. Is that what it's called? Is Twist still in here? He might have gotten off already. I've heard Snake River is like the one that they've mentioned before. And I've seen it like on the maps. But that's just literally being mentioned because it's in the direction that the PCA is claiming that he drove around and people are literally just looking for stuff. That's really just like, that's really it. That there is so much evidence against him. Oh boy, this is definitely somebody that has never looked at a single document in the entire time. There is speculation that some people heard him when he started attacking them and that one of them tried to fight back. Also, someone said something about him turning his phone off or off the network when he was driving near the area. Some people think he made it to look like he drove to Clarkston, Washington, so it wouldn't look like he was in Moscow, and there was a coffee shop that saw his car in Clarkston. This person's timeline is everywhere. What? What? This is so freaking stupid. That the house was a bit of a party house, and heard that the neighbors saw an identical year and model of car and Kohberger's parked outside the house the night of the murders. Did I just call him Kohberger? Swear I just heard myself say Kohberger. Wild. Okay. Impact on the community. This crime had a devastating impact in Latell County residents, many of whom considered this to be a very safe and close-knit community prior to the murders. More than half, 56% of survey respondents reported that they or someone they know experienced higher levels of stress, anxiety, or fear during the search for the killer. That number increased to 63% for Moscow residents. Another 40% of prospective jurors have visited or walked by the home where the murders occurred. The University of Idaho plays an important role in Latell County and the local economy. Its 9,493 students and the 2,321 full-time employees compose 36% of the county's population over the age of 18. As such, the exodus of students after the Thanksgiving break had a significant impact on local businesses. Approximately 78% of Latell County survey respondents reported that they or someone they know lived in Moscow at the time of the murders. In addition, 25% reported that they or a family member was a student or employee at the University of Idaho in Moscow. Latell County survey respondents were asked how the murders impacted their community. Many reported that the environment was very tense and everyone was on edge. Residents were on high alert and living in a state of fear. For the first time, people were locking their doors. Parents feared for their children's lives. The sudden student exodus hurt local businesses. Others complained about the influx of media and reporters to Moscow. Survey respondents described the personal fear they and their neighbors experienced while the killer remained at large. Now, I feel like the next statements that are coming are going to have a lot to do with a lot of the reasons why people think they literally only found somebody to find somebody because it was causing them issues. Like they had to, like they just had to lock somebody down. They have to. And this is kind of what this is kind of alluding to. So let's see what this says. Okay. I think tremendously basically changed everyone's lives. A community that felt extremely safe, caring, personable, changed in an instant. I don't know how long it'll take the college students to feel safe again. It was so terrible, it jarred the whole community. It has impacted us in a very negative way. It ripped our community apart. We lived in fear for so long. I know I still do, and it wouldn't be surprising if others are too. Community was shocked, and we felt a deep loss and broke all our hearts. We had a very dark cloud over our community for so long. The fear we face will forever change our community forever, and it's going to take a long time for our community to get back to normal again. For me, dramatically, I had to shut a business, lost interaction with students because they had to leave. It changed everything immediately, and we are just now beginning to get that back. And remember, this survey just took place March to June 23rd, something like that, of this year. So they're talking about stuff from the murders up until literally just like last month, technically. It impacted me and our community in a major way. We live in a small, innocent town, and no crimes or horrible thing has ever happened before. Where you been? This was a wholesome town where everyone looked out and helped everyone. A town not too common these days, and that man took that from us. Ooh. They sound like it's a personal situation. I was trying to hire people, and some of the candidates wouldn't consider the job because of the murders, and there's a lot of sadness in the community. Were you trying to hire people from somewhere else? Because that's a strange thing to say. Everyone in that area would have known that, and that wouldn't have been a reason for them not to take a job unless you were trying to move people in. I think several people feel that the university shouldn't have torn down the house until after the trial. Yeah, I'm one of those people. It just puts fear in everybody that nobody is safe, and I definitely check my doors to make sure they are locked before I go to bed. I have friends that have young daughters, and one friend that had a daughter, and I have two nieces that live in Moscow, and I bought them bear spray and told them to keep it in her bedroom, and if someone comes in, open it up on them. It made everyone scared for a long time until they found them. Okay. My wife works at the college, and you should see the house from her office. The students and staff ran from their cars to the building because they were so scared. My wife wouldn't go to the store until I got home because she didn't like going out by herself. It shook the whole community. I bought a house in 2014, and they didn't even give me keys. I feel pretty secure being in my location, but the people in town I knew were losing their mind. I'm sorry, but if 2014 you're not locking your doors, that's wild as shit to me. That was just 10 years ago. That's crazy. I feel pretty secure being in my location, but the people in town I knew were losing their mind. I know people in both colleges, and people were sad and confused. It was unbelievable and tragic. It was absolutely atrocious. I think it changed the way people felt in the community and changed the community forever. It invoked a lot of fear. My children were scared, and we live 35 miles out of town. I would fear for any person of student age in Moscow, whereas before it was a safe place. It really takes you by surprise. I don't lock my doors or vehicles, never have, but if I lived in Moscow, I would. Lock your doors. Oh, people are crazy. Sorry. And if this offends you guys that are not locking your doors, then I'm not sorry about it. Like, you've got to be out of your mind to not lock your doors these days. You just have to. You can't trust anything. There's people coming through our borders that are not documented, doing all kinds of cray shit because they left from doing cray shit. You can't trust nothing. Nothing. Jeebus. Okay, where were we? It's devastating, and it's got everyone on edge. If he got away with it, who will be the next to do it? It's something that's discussed a lot. Well, if he got away with it, I mean, if the person who did this is getting away with it, let's just say that right now. But if Bryan would have been the guy to have done this and he got away with it, then he would have been the next one to do it too, which means that the person or people, occupants, people who are responsible for this, probably, most likely, probably 100%, probably, okay, have gotten away with it. And whether they strike again together or separately later on, this isn't going to be the last time they do something stupid. Now, it's devastating, and it's got everyone on edge. If he got away with it, who will be the next to do it? If it's something that's discussed a lot. People started locking their doors when they ordinarily wouldn't. This is kind of a community where people don't have house keys, and that's not the case anymore. It was pretty shocking to people. Put a please, and please. Put a please one if you don't lock your doors. Don't put where you're from. But I want to know if you're locking your doors. Because this is insane to me that this survey was finalized a month ago, and we have people saying they don't lock their door. I lock everything. And I have security systems. And you can't spell. So bye-bye. Look who's gone. You called the wrong one a grifter, you stupid moron. Anyways. So yeah, I don't understand people who don't lock their doors. Everything is insane. People are literally getting attacked for just like walking literally from their vehicle to their front door. It's scary out there. Yes, I have locks on all the doors. I have deadbolts and the regular little turning locks. Then I have locks on the inside. And then I have alarms on 2 different spots on the freaking doors. And I have alarms that will go off anytime any of my windows are open. I also have security cameras, several of them on the outside of the house. I have some on the inside of the house that are facing the front doors and certain windows. I also have security cameras outside and around the garage. Lights everywhere. And there's people sitting here in 2024 saying they don't lock their doors. I'm not done. I'm about to get done though, because it's late. Just give me a few more minutes. I mean, people can can talk. I'm fine with people talking, but you're not going to come in here and like yell at people and say that you don't know a damn thing and call people names and act crazy and yell and scream. It's just not going to happen. I left those situations. We have a nice, peaceful life now. I'm not going to deal with it online. Me neither. Me neither. I won't be sleeping. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. With some holes in them. With some holes in them. I mean, hey, I got all and the above. Check all the box. Yeah, it's about time for me to get off because my son is obviously delusional and they're singing "What Does the Fox Say" at the top of his lungs. Probably time to slow things down. I'll just get back online tomorrow. And we can finish going over all of this. No, I wasn't talking to you, Steven. I was talking to that frog face dude who came in here calling me a grifter and saying that I don't know anything. But he's gone now. Baby shark. It is a dangerous world. Super dangerous. People are literally just like disappearing into thin air. Yeah, I don't do rude. Just like I say, like I'm not gonna sit here and like referee y'all because y'all are all adults. At least you should be all adults being over her. People have differences of opinion, but don't be crazy and yelling and screaming with all caps. Take that to your mama house. Can't do. I cannot believe this these rumors. I think that's what's gonna blow my mind for today. I know it is actually, because I'm like, what in the world? And I like getting y'all's output too, because sometimes I miss some stuff or sometimes I see things a little bit differently. It's just crazy. See, even if I lived in like the hella most remote place ever, I'd still be locking them because I ain't letting no birds in my house. I'm not letting no bear that can pop open a lock come in my house. Crazy. Yes. And the ones that don't ever get found, tell me how that maths. Maryland adult. All right, yeah, guys. I'll probably get on at like 6 instead of 6:30. I might even hop on here. No, I probably won't. I'm gonna keep it at 6:30. I ain't even gonna try a lie. I need to have that time, the 2 hours in between I get off work and get on. Hopefully by tomorrow we can finish the whole thing. I know a lot of people probably already like gone through the whole thing and given like a synopsis or whatever, but I really like going in and trying to read all of it. So I'll get back on tomorrow. I'll make a little thingy in the morning. It'll probably be 6:30. Maybe I'll have my hair dyed by tomorrow. Yeah, I know we talked a lot. I need to focus more on reading. But you can tell that I don't talk to humans throughout the day because I get on here and I talk to the chats. I don't talk to nobody but my kids all day long and the people I got to call for work. Even your doggy door, see? Well, thank you, Steven, even though I went off on your crazy theory. But y'all have a great night. Sleep well. Lock your doors. Lock your doors. Let me get this off of here. Stop sharing this freaking tab. Lock your doors. Okay. Y'all sleep well. No, you totally good. You're totally good, especially since you like let me go crazy and then you stayed in here. You're great. You're fine. You're totally fine. But y'all have a great night. Sleep well. Again, lock your doors. I will see you guys tomorrow. This is a crazy document. Y'all have a good night. See y'all.